Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ring Post Radio, the only podcast that sticks around like Yoshinoya. I'm your host, Ryan I'd and with me, as always, is the man, the myth, the legend, Scottward Edward. Scotty, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm just lovely. It's been a long week of me not watching wrestling, so this should be a fun. This should be. I finally realized about the morning yesterday. I was like, I should probably start watching some stuff before it's too late. But it was a good week otherwise. Yeah, no complaints. No complaints here.
Yeah. Hey, look, every once in a while you need one of these like step away from wrestling weeks, step away from it all. I think this week was probably a good week to do that simply because like the G1 has officially started. You got the N1 around the corner, you got the 5-star, you got
it was definitely on purpose.
Yeah, I forget what Marigold called in their tournament. You got a billion tournaments coming up.
It hit me on I think it hit me on Monday when I was just like looking at the schedule ahead that the G1 was starting, and I was like, "Oh, that's so much wrestling every few days." So I was like, "Yeah, I'm just not gonna watch." So I watched like a bunch of old movies, played some games, lived some life, went out on a Saturday night. What a crazy idea! I know.
Whoa,
kind of life. I know, crazy. But got to get back in the driver's seat now. So. It was a good run, though. I still have thoughts. I did watch Dynamite. That was the only wrestling I did watch from like Sunday to Saturday.
And then Saturday locked back in.
Saturday I locked back in. Put the seatbelt on. I was like, all right, here we go.
Did my gears up.
Just locked myself in. I was like, it was fine. It was fine. There was some good matches, some not so good matches.
We'll talk about that.
That's wrestling, though, baby.
That is wrestling. Yeah, I mean, I think you picked a good Saturday to join back in the wrestling because starting with the night one of G1, we'll obviously talk about it today, but pretty good, pretty good night one.
I had a good time.
Yeah, but we'll have a lot to talk about. We obviously are going to talk about the G1 Climax night one. We had night two took place this morning, but we're not going to talk about that because that was super early and. We're recording a podcast at 9 a.m.
But there is a result we have to talk about.
Okay, I don't know what that result is, so I'll save that
because I think it's like very important.
Perfect. Good to know, and I'm fearful.
It should be.
Did I intro the show? Ring Post? I think I did. I did that.
This is Ring Post Radio. If you're here, you know that. If you're not here.
Then
this message is never going to get to you. So.
Welcome, everybody, to Ring Post Radio. If you're either watching us live or listening to us after the fact, we greatly appreciate it. We greatly appreciate all the listeners, the subscriptions, all those sort of things. And we got a jam-packed show. G1 Climax, of course, we'll talk about. We'll talk about TNA Slammiversary. I watched the show last night while Scotty was out on the town. I had a time. It wasn't bad. I don't think it was bad, but it was a time.
It looked very TNA.
It was very TNA. Then I think that's the thing. I thought it was a really good TNA, but like otherwise, I guess we'll save that for the show. But we're gonna preview Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor, which is happening, of course, this Friday, I believe. And then we're going to talk about AEW Dynamite 250 and sort of this what has come from that show. And as we walk into AEW Blood and Guts, we'll talk about that as well. But we'll start off with some news here, Scotty. Some news of the day, some inklings, some rumors that are floating around the wrestling universe, and of course, that is going to be about one group only. Yes, so Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, I'm glad you appreciated that audio bit, has said that according to the belief within the wrestling community, your locker rooms, yada, 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 that Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley of the Motor City Machine Guns, who have been free agents since they've left TNA earlier this year, will both be heading to WWE. Obviously, we don't know what role, we don't know how, I know on an indie show, I believe on the West Coast, Prestige Defy indie show that took place last night as well. I believe Alex Shelley said something about like, I'm not going to be here again or something like that. Basically, the belief is that they're WWE bound, whether it's main roster NXT, probably NXT. But yeah, Motor City Machine Guns, free agents scooped up again by WWE. Scotty, thoughts on Motor City Machine Guns heading to WWE?
It's gonna like get people mad at me, but I don't really care. I think this is like the biggest fumble by AEW humanly possible. Like this was so easy. This was so easy.
Stephanie Vaquero was up there. I'll say as well.
But yeah, but like we got reports that she just wanted to go to WWE. So like that's nothing they can do. The Motor City Machine Guns, who I don't know, as far as I know, are friends with a lot of people in that company. That was so clearly the all-in title match. So clearly to me, the all-in title match for the Young Bucks. And it just isn't happening now. Not only is it not happening, it's probably going to be the Acclaimed one, and two, they're going to WWE. Like,
well, I'm just going to you didn't watch Collision last night? They're really hyping up that it might be FTR instead.
Oh my God, that might be worse in terms of like, I don't know if it's it just happened so many times, so like I don't care anymore.
You don't know how to. I think they're teasing up a triple threat. I texted you in the Slack that I thought it was going to be like the Don Callis family versus Thomas Billington and FTR. Fine with that. 6-man tag, Takeshita coming back from G1, Kyle Fletcher, some other bloke versus maybe Roosh versus Billington in England, and FTR. I was like, that's a totally fine 6-man, but now it sort of feels like it's angling towards a triple threat or maybe Acclaim beating FTR to then face the Young Bucks.
It was so easy. It was so easy to me. Most of the Machine Guns have been available for what? 4 months, 5 months now?
Something like that.
I don't know what happened, but to me it was always okay. You get the big heel in Okada, you get the big women's star in Mercedes, you get the big babyface in Ospreay, and you get the big tag team in Motor City Machine Guns. And they blew it. Oh, this one pisses me off. I'm not going to lie to you. The best tag division in the world hasn't been the best tag division in the world in a couple of years now. And that's just the case. Good for them. I'm sure they're going to make plenty of money in WWE. And hey, you know what? You can think about it like this. Maybe they'll still work with TNA too.
That's true.
Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. They love working with TNA forever. But man, what a fumble. How the fact we got one Motor City Machine Guns in AEW ever, and one match, it
wasn't a good match either, if I recall.
No, it was a stupid match for them to be in. I'm pissed.
Yeah, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I pretty much agree with everything you're talking about. Motor City Machine Guns going to the AEW feel like it was immediately in the bag. They did wrestle, I think it was All Out 2022, maybe that sounds right. In a match that wasn't too good. And maybe that match soured Tony Khan or something. I don't know. I thought the match was other reasons beyond that, but
if that match is what set Tony Khan off regarding the Motor City Machine Guns, we have problems.
Yeah, I think that there
are Jay Lethal and Wardlow in it.
But yeah, I think it's one of those things of like, it's right there. You could have done Wembley with them against the Young Bucks. It totally made sense. And yeah, I don't know. This has become officially a trend of high level. I would think it's fair to say high level free agents that are now being up not by AEW and going to WWE/NXT. A trend that was lasting for years, really, with the invention of AEW, where all the free agents would go there. Now, after Ospreay, after Okada, after Monet, which are obviously the biggest free agents probably, WWE has picked up, I think, pretty much everyone since. I'm trying to recall correctly.
Yeah, the big ones are Fatu, Vaquer, and Motor City Machine Guns.
Mm-hmm.
Hell of a trio right there.
Obviously, God, obviously Sean Spears, obviously
Ethan
all
Page
Ethan
was
Page.
theirs. Yeah, but like, if you look at those three,
that's numbers. That's numbers on the board,
Yeah, if you look at the three that they did get, it's like, man, and they're gonna make at least Fatu and Vaquer stars.
Mm-hmm.
I am very hesitant on the Motor City Machine Guns in WWE, but they had to promise them something, I'm sure, to get them to go there.
Yeah, I think Motor City Machine Guns are probably going to just be in NXT as sort of like player coaches, boost up
Easy for them,
Yeah, I think they're at the twilight of their careers. Obviously, I mean they're both. I want to say in
plus, right?
40s, right?
I think Chris Sabin's 42.
Let's see,
this was their last deal, and it was about getting big money. So
yeah, Alex Shelley is 41.
Yeah, so good for them.
And Chris Sabin 42. Yeah, Alex Shelley also has already wrestled in NXT prior. Yeah, it's disappointing for AEW to not get the pickups. I think great for NXT if that's where they're going, if that's what they end up doing.
Them versus
Axiom
and Nathan Frazier. That's gonna be good.
That's gonna be good, and I think the NXT, bolstering the NXT roster like that. This year alone, we're adding obviously Sean Spears and Eagle Page and Brian Pillman, all these scrubs that aren't going to be anything. But this year, you're bringing in just in NXT alone, Motor City Machine Guns, Julia, Stephanie Vaquer. Like these are immediate boostings to this roster that could easily use it. At the very least, stop gaps as you're training all these new people to get even better. Right. So this is, I think, an easy peasy pickup for NXT here. And like I said, numbers on the board, another win.
The Guns feel like the Samoa Joe signing for NXT once upon a time. Like when they brought him in, he was never supposed to go further than NXT. And then they're like, oh shit, he's kind of good. And then, things happen. And I think that could be them. Like the idea is to bring in some veterans, right? Because I think the way I look at NXT now is that, yes, it's still the big developmental because that is what that brand should be for. But now that it's moving to the CW, they want some star power on there as well. So you're getting that mix, right? And I think that mix has made NXT for many wrestling fans, not necessarily me, but many wrestling fans, far more interesting than it was when towards the end of the black and gold era.
Yep.
And certainly during 2.0. So like it's working, like people are watching, and they're watching the brand without Vaquer, without Julia, without the Motor City Machine Guns. You add them into the mix, it's a little bit more of an exciting brand moving forward.
Yeah,
not a little bit, a lot more bit, but
yeah. Plus, you got these connections of TNA,
which are working.
Is Kano going to show up in NXT at some point? I doubt it, but who knows? We'll send over Alejandro and Crystal Ball.
They've made NXT. I don't know.
It's
they've
not
made
NXT
unpredictable.
TV yet for me.
It's must-see clips. Like I like seeing the clips.
Sure. Yeah,
that's the easiest way to watch WWE TV for me because it's so much. It's just so much. There's so many hours. So it's like, oh, let me see this clip that 75 engagement farmers posted at the same time. Oh, let me watch this one that 70 other engagement farmers posted.
Oh, I wanted to see Joe Hendry make his entrance the 9th time in a row.
Yeah, my feed every NXT. Oh, Joe Hendry showed up. Oh. Wow, he showed up.
Still showing up.
The best part is when I get to the one that's like, oh wow, look how great of a worker he is. I was like, all right, well, now we've gone too far.
But yeah, I think you're right that it's probably their last TV deal, at least major TV deal. I don't know, man. I don't know what is there any reason why you think AEW would not be interested? I saw someone tweet out this idea of like, if he was interested, he would have given them more money. And seemingly he was not interested. So I think that's the best idea there.
Well, they said it was reported he was interested, so it's not that he wasn't. I think they just lost here.
It could also just easily be he didn't offer them more money because how do we say this in a nice way? I don't think this is a mean thing to say. I think this is a total cost benefit analysis that Tony Khan's doing. I think it's the same idea of like, it would be nice to have Motor City Machine Guns coming in, but he probably does not value them, put the price tag on them as high as as NXT would put them on, who might be giving them a player coach deal, which would be more benefits or whatever, more sort of things for NXT.
Hey, he can do whatever he wants. His tag division is the one that sucks.
I don't think you're wrong.
I don't either. I get some champions that don't work. So, well, I've been over this on this show many times with the Young Bucks, and they are not fixing their care for this anymore. So I give up.
Yeah,
I've given up on the tag division of AEW, folks. Motor City Machine Guns was like the last dart throw for me, and they just didn't sign them. So I'm done.
This was the home of the tag team wrestling and Motor City Machine Guns. One of the foundations of like 2010s, 2000s.
One of the greatest tag teams of all time. Period. Like the one time in the past, 2-3 years that the AEW tag belts have felt important, or when FTR were facing Juice and Jay, and they didn't change the titles then, and then they just have been in obscurity ever since.
You're saying that it would have been better if they changed the titles on the Juice and Jay?
Damn right. I mean, listen, I know Juice ended up getting hurt, but like that wasn't for another few months. Like it was a spark on Collision that was really entertaining, that I was really invested in. They should have made the switch, and they didn't. And I'm sorry, can you name a tag match that you really remember since then with those belts on the line that you've truly, truly enjoyed?
Well, after FTR would be Starks and Big Bill. And so I'm trying to go through, like, I thought Starks and Big Bill were entertaining and fun and good as a tag team, but I don't necessarily would consider them great. And I don't really remember anything. And also, to be fair, the entire time it felt like they were just the transitions to Omega Jericho. And when that fell through, then I was like, okay, just keep going with these guys, I guess, for a little bit.
So there's one time.
And then who won
it was Darby and Sting.
Darby and Sting.
Darby and Sting made it very important for a month.
I would say that match would probably be the
and then but like here's the thing. That match wasn't about the belts.
No.
That was about Sting retiring. It just happened to have belts involved. And now these two have had the belts for 3 months and have defended it 0 times. Does that move you?
Does that move me? No. Have they really defended it 0 times? I feel like they've done.
They did an acclaimed eliminator.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was like, I'm pretty sure they've done an eliminator. The whole storyline of the Young Bucks having the belt is that they don't defend it.
If you go through like since the first Young Bucks reign, right? So the Lucha Bros got it. Notably, had not a good reign with those. Like that is notable. Remember, like they didn't have good matches with FTR, and then they just kind of dropped them to Jurassic Express. Sure. Then Jurassic Express, I remember I wanted them to drop the belts pretty much every time they defended them.
Yeah, you were not into them. You were not into Jurassic Express.
No. And then they go back onto the Young Bucks just so that they can lose them in a 3-way match, but that was because the Hardys,
Yeah, that was meant to be not the Young Bucks, but that was supposed to be the Hardys, wasn't it?
I'm sorry. Would that have been better?
I don't know.
At that, what's the last good Hardys match you saw? Yeah, exactly.
Hardy's as a tag team. Let me go back into my WWE network real quick.
Swerve in Our Glory was good.
Yes.
I'll give them that. They were good. I enjoyed them. And then the Acclaim got them and
Started fine.
a long time.
Right?
Yeah.
Started fine, but way too long.
Defended the belts against Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett twice in a row.
Mm-hmm. Then the Guns, which a lot of people did not like the Guns, but it was ultimately an elevation. I really enjoy the Guns. I think their work has been great.
And FTR got them back.
Yeah,
had
which
the good
was
stuff
not as good as their first reign, but still solid.
No. Had the good match with Bullet Club Gold, but then you had Adam Cole and MJF, Big Bill and Brian Cage, the Young Bucks all-in match, which was, I think, lackluster. They defeat Aussie Open on Wrestle Dream. I don't remember that at all.
Me neither.
That's crazy. And then they lost them to Big Bill and Ricky Starks, and then we got to where we are now. I just think, like, for a company that still has great tag teams, I said this to you when the rumors of a stadium show popped up this week. We were talking about potential matches that you would do. And I said, isn't it funny how, like, no one pitches anything for the Young Bucks anymore?
You and I came up with like 3 or 4 3 or 4 matches, and we were like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, the Young Bucks."
Like, I feel like it's telling these days.
I mean, I understand that a lot of it is heel stuff, and this is what they're doing as heels. But like the fact that it is like the Young Bucks, and it is just like, weird tag team wrestling is going to be a thing, and all that sort of stuff, and then not even have a match ever.
It frustrates me because they do the Sting Darby match that's just fantastic, and then they have shut off since, like, completely off.
They had the tournament, obviously, where they won the titles in that ladder match against FTR.
That was good,
but it's becoming apparent that the only great tag teams, quote unquote, great, right? Great tag teams, because the only quote unquote great tag teams in the AEW division, right? Tag team division is the Young Bucks and FTR, because they constantly are running them back for big shows. That to me is becoming apparent, because I don't know what is the tag team division. This topic has turned into us talking about the AEW tag team division.
I think it's stunning how you don't run back the Young Bucks and Lucha Bros as much as you run back FTR and the Young Bucks, because I think that's the better combo.
I agree.
I
fully agree.
I think they've had a better peak for sure in that steel cage match, one of the greatest AEW matches of all time. And they haven't done it since. They have not done that match. Oh, wait, no. They did do that match on an episode of Rampage, and it was great.
Yeah.
It was great, and they just don't do it anymore. Like, I always forget the Lucha Bros exist. They very much exist. They're in CMLL this week, which is amazing, by the way. That's a different topic. But, like, the tag division, I don't know what it is anymore. You're absolutely right. You still got the Guns.
Can I give you the tag teams that are in this roster, this company right now?
Yeah, fire me up.
And give me a scale of 1 to 5 on
1 to 5 on interest.
Yes.
Okay.
This is the Ring Post Radio Classic segment. Let's look at the AEW roster page. We don't have music, but we should, honestly. Perfect. 1 to 5. Give me a rating 1 to 5 on interest. The Dark Order, Alex Reynolds and John Silver.
0.
Well, that wasn't technically on scale, but
1. Sorry.
Angelo Parker and Matt Menard.
3. I like them.
Sure, but world title,
really good ROH tag team.
Sure, yeah. Anthony Bowens and Max
probably in terms of AEW. 1. I have 0 interest in the Acclaim these days.
The Guns, which are kind of in trios world, but 2. The Guns.
2.
Bishop Khan and Toa Leona.
3.
Can you see them in a tag team match?
I like them. Well, no, because they're always losers, but maybe someday.
Who else? House of Black. I guess we'll say Brody King and Malachi.
They're good. They have good matches.
Mm-hmm.
So like 3. Like I know people hate Malachi Black, but they have good matches.
Can you see them in a
Maybe
match?
something.
Can you see them in a pay-per-view match against the Young Bucks?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that would be great. I'd be excited for that.
Yeah.
Why are we not doing that?
Remember their trios were, well, maybe not their trios were full run, but remember when they won the belts from the Elite? That was great.
Mm-hmm. FTR, obviously.
3 these days. It's the idea of FTR that keeps them going, but like, meh.
Past their peak.
Is this against the Young Bucks?
Yeah.
Oh, 1.
Top flight.
Thanks. 3. I like Top Flight.
A lot of 3s. Nothing. No 4s. No, nothing.
No, nothing's sparking me here.
I don't know if they're still around, but let's just say. Well, actually, I'm not gonna say it because I don't know. I was gonna say Drilistico and Roosh or Drilistico and like Preston Vance, but I don't know. Are they a thing anymore? I have no idea.
I would go ahead and no.
Private Party.
3. They had that one great match on the second episode of Dynamite. I feel like they could probably do it again.
Well, they've wrestled a lot since then, and they have not. I'll tell you that much.
These 2?
Yeah, Private Party. They've wrestled a lot since then. I think they wrestled during this the tag team tournament, but they won the titles.
Oh, maybe. All right, then 2. You downgraded it. Good job.
Who else? I guess I don't. Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett. I don't really know if that's still a thing.
No,
so let's leave them out. Who else? What else is a tag team? Who else is
How about the OGK?
I haven't seen them yet. Who else is a tag team? I guess part of a faction. Fletcher,
Butcher and the Blade. I'm slapping you.
I haven't seen them yet either. But Kyle Fletcher and Konose Takeshita, maybe as a tag team.
I mean, that obviously be very good, but like Takeshita should not be a tag team wrestler.
Yeah, I'm putting a lot of singles guys or trios guys together, faction guys together. Where are the tag teams? Is what I'm.
You know what you're telling me?
Where are the tag
doomed.
teams?
That's what you're telling me. We're doomed.
It's
what
either
happened?
They're either trios teams / factions, or they're single guys I'm putting together, or they're like low card tag teams. There are any tag teams in the division.
No,
they're interesting. OGK, Ben and Taven.
That's probably the most interesting to me so far.
That would be interesting, but they're the Ring of Honor tag team champions. So that's not going to happen.
That doesn't mean anything.
I know. I don't know. Lucha Bros, we kind of already went over.
That would be high, to be fair.
That would be super high.
Yeah, 5. All right. Let me make some pitches. All right.
Butcher and the Blade.
Think Vincent, around the world.
Vincent and what the other guy's name? Vincent and
Dutch.
Dutch. Thank you.
All right.
Where are the tag teams? There are any tag teams.
Hear me out here. Let me cook. Let me get in the kitchen. Let me start baking a little bit. I gotta look at the trios teams that we formed over the past whatever, right? And like what combos from that would work.
Mm-hmm.
How about Samoa Joe and Katsuyori Shibata?
Yeah, that would be interesting. That'd be a solid.
Better than nothing, which are currently at. You know what they should run, which they've been teasing for like months and they just haven't done it. They should put Roddy and Kyle O'Reilly back together, like they were in NXT. They were fantastic. They were better than the stupid team with Bobby Fish. Red Dragon was good. I just don't like Bobby Fish. But they were better in the little NXT run they had together than I think I've seen for most of the Red Dragon's run. So I'd do that. I'd put them as a tag team because at the end of the day, you have a lot of guys that are singles guys now that just aren't doing anything. And you have a division that's floundering.
Can we make some tag teams? You know what I mean? Let's just put some guys together, some single guys that aren't doing anything, and start making some tag teams. You made the Acclaimed, and Tony Khan is so excited about the Acclaim all the time, and obviously wants to push them, and obviously wants to do these things. And that if that worked for you, let's make some more people that we can push into the tag team division. Who have we made? Who's the last team we made? Probably what? Toa Leona and Bishop Khan.
Oh no, that's so long ago. But yeah, you're
Yeah.
probably right.
That was when he got Ring of Honor. I don't really know, like, other than, and besides that, it's like a lot of factions and stuff.
Yep.
I don't really. The conglomerate? Are we counting the conglomerate?
No, I'm not.
I found a website that put all its active lists of AEW tag teams. Aussie Open's on this list. No. So these are the people that are actual tag teams that aren't factions or, these are just two people as a team. Ready? The Acclaimed, Aussie Open, I'm not counting. The Guns, Lucha Brothers, Young Bucks, FTR, Kings of the Black Throne, the Infantry, Iron Savages,
Ugh.
Private Party, The Righteous, Shane Taylor Promotions, Top Flight, OGK. That's it.
You remember when
make some fucking tag teams?
This is
I'm mad about this now.
You should be.
I'm legitimately mad about this.
You know what is forgotten in the past year?
What's that?
So at AEW Revolution, there was this tag team match between FTR and John Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli that John Moxley and Claudio won, and then they did nothing after it.
Yep.
And listen. I think people are starting to realize John Moxley may not be loving the whole American TV thing these days. He doesn't seem as motivated lately, which is why he's probably on a break right now, because he deserves it after working for the past 4 years straight, essentially. Or feels like the amount that he works, it feels like 4 years. Like, that's a possibility. Why is Claudio not running wild at a tag team? I don't even care if we do him and Yuta at this point. Like, just do something.
Yeah.
In this tag division that's interesting, not just the same thing, which, based on what you told me on Collision, it's going to be the same thing or the same thing.
It was great. The Battle Bulls are always sort of dumb, but I don't remember what AEW called theirs with the MJF Adam Cole thing. But remember what was one of the things that came out of that? I'm trying to remember the exact team, but it was like Big Bill. Oh, it was Big Bill and Brian Cage.
Yeah.
And everyone was like,
title match.
That I was like, you put two guys together and they had good chemistry, and you're like, this is a tag team that we could run with, and then we didn't do anything with. Like, I want to see more of, like, here's two singles guys that we're not really doing anything with, like the Ricky Starks Big Bill group, right? Here's two single guys that we're not doing anything with. Let's put them together as a team and see what we can do and see what we can make out of it.
Hey, where's Bandito?
Well, he's still injured, apparently.
Man.
Yeah, I know.
That has nothing to do with tag teams anymore. I just want Bandito back.
Well, let's talk about, should we continue talking about AEW Dynamite and Blood and Guts, or should we do a quick detour to Ring of Honor? Let's do a quick detour to Ring of Honor.
Why'd you even ask me?
Great point. Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor, is taking place this Friday out of Arlington, Texas. Obviously, AEW is currently in their residency in Arlington, Texas, at the Esports Stadium Arlington. I don't know if you saw any pictures or clips from Collision last night, Scotty.
I did. Look cool.
Yeah, I thought they don't have any pyro, which is slightly upsetting. But the stage setup, I think, is very interesting and cool.
They don't have any pyro.
Oh. No, well, Ray Phoenix came out, and when they did his little thing, no fire shot out. And I was like, that's disappointing.
Do you remember? This is very random, very specific. But do you remember when WWE did like a 3-month like no pyro thing? Yeah. So like when Brock came out, it was just like and nothing happened.
Yeah,
that's what it must have felt like when Phoenix did the thing, and you were like, oh.
Yeah, I'm not saying it doesn't feel like money saving. It just feels like money saving is what we're doing here. But maybe
that entire thing they're doing in that building, that's called money saving.
TV deal around the corner. Here we go. I hope they get a TV deal. Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor. Speaking of getting a TV deal,
Ring of Honor, as I look at their roster page, great set of champions.
Okay, yeah. What's a good look? Name a champion.
Mark
and
Briscoe,
I'll give you the
world
title match.
champion.
Yes, he has a title match against Roderick Strong. That should be
That's
good.
just great.
I'm excited about that.
You want to hear my? I don't know if this is a hot take, but I think like when it comes to AEW, the wrestler I look most forward to these days is like Mark Briscoe.
I agree.
I just love Mark Briscoe.
I think
awesome.
He is one. I think he's like literally in my ratings. I think he's like one of my top 10 wrestlers this year.
Also,
he's weirdly underrated. I think
we've talked about all these tag teams, and I had another thing earlier this week where I wasn't watching wrestling. I was like, man, I miss the Briscoe so much. That was tag team wrestling, man.
Yeah. Mark Briscoe is actually my number 5 wrestler of the year currently.
That's real. Shout out to Mark Briscoe.
Okay, Mark Briscoe against Roderick Strong. An exciting match. Your main event.
I pitched that match to you.
Yeah, you did. Give me another champion.
Athena
will be defending her title against Queen Aminata.
Yeah, see that's good. That's good. Listen. Ring of Honor, I think we need to not expect like I think when you watch a Ring of Honor show, you should expect something that feels like Ring of Honor. And to me, those two matches kind of feel Ring of Honor-esque. So that's why I'm excited by them. Aminata should 1,000% win the title. No hesitation. Enough is enough. Athena has been in Ring of Honor exclusively for 2 years now. Let's move on. She's been great. She's been amazing. But she's ready to go to AEW, and Aminata is the perfect person to beat her. Just like the last 7 people have felt like the perfect person to beat Athena. I think this is the one you gotta follow through on.
I would love that.
And also, Aminata rules.
Agreed. Name another champion.
There's no way Wheeler Yuta has a match.
As of right now, Wheeler Yuta does not have a match.
He did go to a 10-minute time limit with Lee Moriarty, though, in a proving ground match. So,
all right. That's probably going to be it.
That's a good one. I like Lee Moriarty. Talk about a guy. He should do more.
He's in a tag team with Shane Taylor.
Hey, there we go. No tag team. That's a good match. Let's talk about the best champion in Ring of Honor. Elias Jr.
As of right now, he has no match announced.
I was going to say, there's no way this man has a match. I already knew that. But I assumed he would face Fletcher, but they seem to have gone away from that. But, you want to hear the match they ran on the Ring of Honor tapings last night with Atlantis Jr.?
Oh, sure.
Johnny TV.
Go ahead.
It's Johnny TV and Shane Taylor versus Atlantis Jr. and Leo Rush.
What the fuck?
I saw Atlantis Jr. and Leo Rush. I was like, that's the one. Give me that one. Yeah. That one right there. Do that. And man, they should put Leo Rush in a tag team.
Yeah, why not?
Leo Rush and Bandito.
Sure. Why not?
Tag team of the year if you give him the right moves. But yeah, I'm going to guess he's facing one of those people. Actually, let me see who won that match. Well, Johnny TV and Shane Taylor did, so it's going to be one of those two.
Shane Taylor, probably.
Womp, womp.
No, it might be Johnny TV for the Lucha Underground sort of thing.
That could be good. Yeah. Remember that awful Johnny TV Dalton Castle match?
Yeah. I do.
Holy shit.
Johnny TV. Does Johnny TV versus Atlantis Jr. get you excited?
Also, randomly, Claudio and Wheeler Yuta were on Ring of Honor. NJ and Duca wrestled? Holy shit.
Finally.
Holy hell.
Good for him. Name another champion.
Are they going to do the Von Erichs?
They're teaming up with Dustin Rhodes and sort of like a
okay, well, they wrestled in the Ring of Honor main event, so
they were on Collision last night.
The Undisputed Kingdom.
As of right now, they don't have a match.
And Billy Starks.
Billy Starks will be defending her title against Red Velvet.
That's a good one as well. Those matches have been announced for like 2 months, and then they just announced nothing else after that.
Well,
you know, there's a Texas death match on that show.
I was gonna say there's only one other match announced for this, and it is a Texas death match between Diamante and Layla Hirsch.
It's actually a 3-way match.
Huh? They got added to a 3-way?
It's Diamante versus Layla Hirsch versus Hangman Page.
What a dumb joke. What a dumb joke.
But you popped.
You were so happy. You were so pleased with yourself, Scotty.
Oh, I sure was. You know what? I'd do it again. Oh, man.
Are you at all, we have 4 matches announced. Maybe Atlantis Jr. versus Johnny TV. Maybe Wheeler Yuta versus Lee Moriarty. Maybe OGK versus the Conglomerate in some way. Like, because, Mark Briscoe and Roderick Strong. So OGK versus, like, Orange and Ishii or something. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to do some sick matches on that show. But listen, here's the thing about Ring of Honor shows. They always have, like, whatever builds, usually non-existent. And every match besides, like, 3 or 4 title matches thrown on in the last second.
Yep.
But I always have a good time. So that's my hope here. I have a good time. And that's kind of my expectation, is that it can be good. I hope.
Do you have any thoughts on Kerry Silkin doing an interview and saying that he doesn't think Tony Khan is? I forget what the quote is, but he's basically saying that he doesn't think Tony Khan's doing a good job of Ring of Honor.
Where's the lie? I'm sorry. Anyone that says Tony Khan is doing a good job with Ring of Honor is just like way too much of an AEW super fan that protects them with the. He's not. This has not been a good, well booked promotion or whatever we want to call it.
They have a show in this Friday, and there are 4 matches announced, and most of your champions don't have matches. Half of your champions don't have matches, I should say.
Yeah. Yep. He should just give the book to someone. We've been saying it. We said it at the beginning. Give the book to someone. I don't care who it is at this point. Give it to Christopher Daniels. He's your little guy on TV now. Just give it to him. I don't know. Just give it to someone.
The quote from Kerry Silkin, of course, former owner of Ring of Honor. I believe he's the former owner, right? Yeah, he was. Quote, Ring of Honor, there was some good pro wrestling going on in that segment of it, but right now, Ring of Honor, it's like no one cares at all. I don't care how much money Tony Khan has. It's not being treated very well.
And he's not wrong. And anyone that thinks he is not watching Ring of Honor, which, again, might be part of the problem.
Because no one's watching Ring of Honor.
Think about Ring of Honor pay-per-views. I look forward to them because it's a good wrestling show. But, like, you can't be that excited because it's just a wrestling show.
Yeah, no, I understand. It's the idea of, like, you can't. AEW used to be, like, the master of hype, right? Back in the day. Like, that was one of the things that they were really great at doing, is, like, getting you hyped for something. And Ring of Honor is just like a promotion that has no hype and no interest whatsoever. And then they'll put on a great pay-per-view and you're like, all right, that was pretty good. But then it's just like, I'm not watching anything that's happening on television. I don't do anything. You have a lot of squash matches and stuff like that, which is fine, but there's no, the only real storyline that I know that's happening in Ring of Honor is the Athena stuff. Like, I don't know of any other storyline that's happening in Ring of Honor right now. And that could be me because I'm not watching Ring of Honor television. But there's nothing right now that is even remotely making me interested in watching Ring of Honor television.
No. The last Ring of Honor event, by the way, obviously Super Card of Honor. You had the Kyle Fletcher-Lee Johnson match, which was great. You had the Stardom match. You had the Ring of Honor tag title match, which was Undisputed Kingdom and the Infantry. Billy Starks and Aminata in the finals of the tournament. Bullet Club Gold defeated Minoru Suzuki and Monster Sauce.
That's Lance Archer and Alex Zane.
Dalton Castle defeated Johnny TV.
Terrible
Oh,
match.
so, and
Awful.
then Athena defeated Shida, and Mark Briscoe defeated Eddie Kingston. Yeah. How many of those wrestlers are going to be on the show? Probably like half, maybe. Not.
Well, it's also the things we talked about. Like the long-standing bit on the show has been like the Ring of Honor roster and being like, what is it? What is the Ring of Honor roster? When
If
are we going to update it?
they should be treating this brand like NXT, and instead they're treating it like Dark with titles.
Which that was the fear to begin with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that, like I've heard a lot of conversations about that also with like AEW lately. Of like a lot of the
you have to pay to watch this one.
A lot of the fears with like wrestling and AEW and Ring of Honor, all these sort of things have like, oh, it's great that like AEW is getting Ring of Honor because they can turn into an actual thing versus WWE getting it and it just dying. And that is probably true. And it probably would have just died and become a content library. But
Sure.
is the shambling corpse any better of Ring of Honor? Kazuchika Okada has been someone also that's been brought up a lot recently of just this idea of like, oh, if he goes to WWE, he's just going to become like a mid-card comedy act. That was a legit fear that we said on the show, that everyone else said on the show, that everyone else said in their shows, that everyone said online, that if he goes to, he's going to be like Nakamura, but he's really good at comedy, and they're going to see that, and they're just going to have him do comedy. And right now, he's, I wouldn't say comedy act, but he is definitely a comedy gimmick, you know?
Pretty damn close.
He's definitely holding a mid-card title.
Out of the majority of appearances he makes, he doesn't wrestle and he does comedy.
Yes.
He was hot and bothered this week. He did wrestle for a match that we all knew was ending in disruption and not an actual match. So like, I think it's time. I'm gonna say it. I think it's time we stop looking at this as like, oh, AEW will guaranteed it'll be better. I'm done looking at it that way because maybe it's not anymore. Okay, sometimes it will be, sure, but like when Stephanie Vercaer didn't sign with AEW, I was like, all right, why would she? They all like there's only some like so many people get put on the back burner in this company, and it happens in WWE too. But like AEW is notably has this loaded roster, so like I feel like it's a little more noticeable with people, right? It's when people disappear, it's like where are they, right? I think we've heard about Ricky Starks 5 times the past 4 years, for example, or like people get hurt and we don't know, things like that as well. But that's just how they handle business. That's whatever. But it's like I'm not gonna sit here and assume anymore. Like this person will be better here, this person will be better there. I don't know. I don't know who will be better where. Some people are just built for WWE. I'm not gonna lie to you, that's just true. And then some people would probably be fitting better in AEW. Like Will Ospreay, he was always gonna be better in AEW.
Yeah,
you'd always feel that. Okada, I remember talking to a lot of people. They had concerns both ways. That's why I was wanting to stay in New Japan. It's like it just depends on the person. But I think this whole like idea that AEW or nothing is the best place for most wrestlers to succeed and be themselves, not necessarily anymore.
It's also frustrating that like we talk about how great the roster is, but then we also talk about how they have so much TV with Dynamite and Rampage and Collision and Ring of Honor, and yet there are still people saying like, oh, they just like disappear off the face of the earth and we don't know where they are. Like you have, what are we talking about? Dynamite's 2 hours, Rampage is 3, it makes it 3, Collision makes it 5, Ring of Honor makes it 6. You got 6 hours of television to do stories and all this stuff. You have a billion producers in the back, and you have a tag team division that we just talked about that feels like it's falling apart at the seams. You have a bunch of wrestlers that are either injured or just have fallen off the face of the earth. And you have at least 2 shows that like Rampage is doing okay, but it's not doing great. Ring of Honor, I can't imagine is doing great. Collision is doing good as well, but Collision doesn't really, and Collision doesn't have to. I'm not saying everyone's got to tell stories, but Collision is more about like putting on great wrestling matches than anything else, which I like to see. But it's also guys that are like doing stuff, and it's like what I'm trying to say is it feels like we have all this TV time, and it feels like not a lot of stuff is happening. It feels like all the stuff happens on Dynamite. Great wrestling happens on Dynamite and Collision, and then like nothing happens. Maybe you get a great match, a really good match on Rampage. Maybe rarely you get a really good match on, I think, Ring of Honor TV probably. Mm-hmm. And it just feels like what it feels like is something that we all talked about when Ring of Honor was purchased, is that it feels like everything is stretched thin. Mm-hmm. And that you don't have a big roster, that as good of a roster, as big as a roster as you think. And that we aren't able to develop talents or tag teams or all these sort of things. It feels like things aren't working out, really. And I am an AEW fan, and I did not expect to have this rant conversation right now. I expect us to have conversations with other things. But it does really feel frustrating that it feels like the machine isn't working.
Yeah, I mean, there's another conversation to get into in terms of prospects between the two companies, like who has the best prospect. It's WWE, by the way.
They just got Stephanie Vauquer. Of course, they got one of the better prospects.
Yeah, but she's older. Like I'm talking about, like the people they're training up. Like that's the one thing I wish AEW had, was they're training more potential Hall of Famers. I don't give a shit about what Hall of Famers.
I love it.
I mean, that'd be great. But like main event stars, right? Yeah. At one time, like I remember when Garcia came in, Moriarty came in, like all these young guys came in,
coming off the indies.
Mm-hmm. And here we are.
Moriarty has kind of flopped in AEW, I'll say. Danny Garcia, hot and cold, and it does feel like
I think people are signing too early.
Mm-hmm.
I think Moriarty should have kept going because he was doing really good work on the indies. Mm-hmm. And I think he would have benefited from like a Japan run, was built like that's something in wrestling now that I think is really hurting some young wrestlers. Is that, well, it's great that they're getting paid, they're getting contracts, and I'm never going to say don't take the contract. Like, yeah, go crazy, man. You know, the Danielsons, the Joes, the Punks, that era had to do a lot before, right? You look at Mariah May. What did she do? She went to Japan first, and then she came here, and she's a superstar.
She would not have been signed to AEW if she not go to Stardom first.
Right, and she could have went to the U.S. Indies, and maybe she would have caught an eye. She could have been signed, but she wouldn't have been as good. She wouldn't have been as effective.
She could have gotten into Rev Pro and maybe gotten the AEW,
But you go to Japan, you go to somewhere where you're going to work on your skills and you get better. It's going to be better for you in the long run. And it's why you and me have talked about this. AEW really should explore the idea of excursions for some people. Mm-hmm. Like even Jack Perry benefited from it. Yes. And he did it. He only did so many matches, but like he came back a different guy.
Titus Alexander is a guy that's currently in Noah, about to do the N1.
Who took our idea? WWE did.
Josh Briggs, Tavion Heights.
Like, does either of them? I don't know who Tavion Heights is. I can't say exactly.
I've seen 2 Tavion Heights matches since we last spoke.
Oh, okay. I don't think Briggs is all that good, but like it's the right choice for these guys. Mm-hmm. It's like, all right, we're gonna send them against some of the world's best and see what happens, right? Mm-hmm. If AEW is not going to develop people through Ring of Honor like NXT does,
they're the only guy that feels like they're doing that with is like Billy Starks, Lee Johnson.
Yeah, that's 2 people. That's 2 whole people.
I guess Kyle Fletcher to a certain extent, but he was already more finished than anybody else.
Right. So like that's the thing. It's like it's not me saying, oh, all is doomed. It's just me saying like, you gotta fix something here, man. Between the tag division and this, we're losing our mindset. I didn't even come here. I didn't jump on this episode to say much bad about AEW.
Me neither. If anything, I was going to defend AEW.
I just want everyone to know that was not the plan here. I told Ryan before the show, I was like, I have no idea what we're talking about today. Yeah. This accidentally happened and steamrolled because of Motor City Machine Guns.
And then I was like, maybe Ring of Honor can cheer us up, and it just made us more upset.
Oh God. Well, we can move on.
Right. Dynamite. Let's talk about Dynamite. Let's talk about Dynamite 250 and Blood and Guts. Dynamite 250, obviously.
Oh, Blood and Guts. God.
Dynamite 250, obviously, the 1 hour match, basically 1 hour match between Will Ospreay and MJF, of MJF winning the AEW International title. Mercedes Moné successfully defending her title against Willow Nightingale. And in a DQ finish in the main event, it went Swerve versus Kazuchika Okada, champion versus champion, no titles on the line. And obviously went to a DQ finish to all set up and tease Blood and Guts, which has a bunch of matches like Suzuki versus Jericho. I believe Mariah May will be in action. Hikaru Shida versus Britt Baker. And then, of course, the Blood and Guts match itself with the Elite versus Team AEW. So I guess thoughts on Dynamite 250, Scotty, to start, and then we'll talk about Blood and Guts as it leads into it.
I did not have a good time.
Interesting. So that is where I came in, possibly defending it. The big talking point coming at 250 is the basically 1 hour match between MJF and Will Ospreay. Scotty, did you not?
Did numbers though, baby? So numbers. It worked.
It worked. Did you not like that match?
No.
Can you explain why? Because I thought the match was great, but I was also bored a lot of it.
What?
Yeah. I thought the work was good. I thought the selling for the most part was really solid. They're the classic.
The selling of the leg got me good though.
Yeah.
Because it did stop, but like I don't care. I've said it on the show. I don't really care that much about like that, especially wrestling 60 minutes. Like whatever, go off. I don't want to watch MJF wrestle for an hour. He bothers me.
I also have come to the. I'm so happy that the everyone this week
everyone's about Ospreay. I'm like, what are you talking about?
I agree. I thought Ospreay was great in this match. I thought MJF. I did not like MJF in this match at all, and I'm so happy, Scotty. And that is how I know you and I are good podcasters, because only us are going to come on here and be like, MJF was also in the match, and he stunk it up. It felt like.
Someone tweeted like, "Oh, look at these crazy bumps. It's like Shawn Michaels in the Hogan match." I was like, "That's not a good thing."
Shawn Michaels was mocking Hogan,
right? Like that's the problem. Like everything MJF does to me these days is it's just a problem. Like I just don't enjoy his work, and I've accepted that. I'm just not gonna enjoy his work, and especially like everyone's like, "Oh, he's a better wrestler now than he is like a promo guy," and I'm like,
I would say
sure,
yes,
I guess. I mean, I don't like either one.
He's improved. I'm not going to deny that the fact that you're able to do all that wrestling and all that stuff, and like it was jam packed stuff of ideas and stuff for a full hour. Very impressive. He has certainly became a better wrestler, but there is something about his wrestling that I just cannot get into. I find his ideas too theatrical or too over the top that I don't enjoy.
He feels like he's an 80s wrestler doing present day moves.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like
it. And I want everyone to remind you, new listeners may not remember this. Old listeners do remember this. This is coming from me, a guy that did not really like and thought it was not as good as everyone said it was, the Bryan Danielson MJF 60-hour match. Not 60 hours, 60-minute
Holy
match.
Shit. 60 hours.
I thought that was pretty good, right?
Yeah.
And everyone was upset with me because I was like, it wasn't great. I didn't really like it. I don't like MJF matches that are long.
No, I don't like MJF matches, I've decided anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to say it again real quick. You know what MJF desperately needs? The two guys that aren't here anymore. Said it once, I'll say it again. Who controlled him? You know, who kept him?
Who reined him in?
Yeah, they both left, and he has been off the rails ever since.
What about MJF, in your opinion, was bad in this match?
Well, the selling is number one. The way he just wrestles, like the way he does things. I don't know why, but he made. Oh! I have to attack Ospreay on one thing. I'm so sorry because if I don't remember this, I won't. The Tiger Driver spot is the worst spot in professional wrestling.
And
just hit the freaking move.
And you're saying not the actual match, but the story element of.
Oh my god, this one made no sense. He was so ready to hit it on Swerve, but MJF, the meanest guy in the company, I don't know.
The guy that just I don't know, possibly like eliminated Daniel Garcia's career. Yeah. He'll never be able to wrestle again because of the neck injuries he sustained, right? You don't want to do that to MJF. If anything, that's a good dichotomy between good and bad. The bad guy is willing to do an insane move onto someone's neck, right? Super pile driver from the top rope. Well, the good guy does not want to do that. However, there is a justification element to doing it to the bad guy. The dramatic irony of all these sort of things of doing a neck injury move to the bad guy who did that to the good guy. But I also look, I get the storytelling of like, I don't want to be that evil, right? I want to be the good guy that doesn't do those sort of things.
But he was gonna do it to Swerve. like, what's the difference? Swerve's a nice guy. MJF's not. That's the story. Whatever. MJF, what don't I like about it? Just everything he does. Like, it's just, I don't enjoy the way he puts together matches. And I think these two tried to put together a match that was both of their styles, and it just was very conflicting to me. Like, MJF likes to work body parts, and Ospreay does his match. Now, Ospreay's match is very specific, right? And for most people, it's the best match formula in wrestling.
Yeah.
So when you're mixing,
he's Ric Flair. After you and I have seen so many Will Ospreay matches, we understand the Will Ospreay formula.
Sure do. I think a lot of people that will watch, if you've watched a G1 of Ospreay, you kind of catch on after a while. But like, that was the part they tried to mix in the MJF formula, and it doesn't work for me. It just does not work unless you have the right guy that can work that formula. You know, like MJF has some great matches. I don't want to sit here and say he is like a guy I've never liked wrestle before, because that's not true. Okay. That is not true. Haven't liked a lot. But like, his formula to me is, the Punk stuff, for example. I really liked his match with Kenny Omega last year. I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
Him and Darby have good chemistry as well. But like, for certain people, it just doesn't work. And the last thing, you make me watch a match for 58 minutes and you're going to do a ref bump. This company and their ref bumps, man. Wrestling and ref bumps. Not wrestling. American TV wrestling and their ref bumps.
Well, I mean, House of Torture is known for their ref bumps. I
don't know what you're talking about. Don't lie on my guy. But like, I think I'm just so over ref bumps that like, when that ended, I was like, all right, get away from me. I like that they had a finish. I'll give them that. They didn't go full 60. They had a finish.
I talked about how I thought it was a great match, but I thought it was sort of boring. That's
my favorite thing I think I've ever heard you say. It was a great match. It was boring.
It was I can give you the perfect analogy. It was a 4-meal course of just dessert.
Oh, there was a lot of big moves.
Everything I was like, this is sweet. This is great. But after having it for 4 courses in a row, I was like, I'm done. Can I get something different?
That's another thing that angered me. There were so many ridiculous kickouts after a while. It's like
the styles clash onto the apron, the all these sort of things. So I was like,
off the top, right? Too.
Yeah, great stuff, interesting stuff. But I was like, this is not the finish.
It's better when it's packed into 30 and not 60.
I thought the table spot was incredibly clunky. It's so obvious that they wanted the announce tables to be over there, and they centered their entire match around announce tables being in that position. And then they went to the ring and said, "There's no announce table here. What are we gonna do? Let's just put a table there."
Listen, I know some people love the match. I'm not one of them. That's how it is.
I went 4 stars
I thought you weren't gonna like it because it was 60 minutes.
because I'm
like I know you have a limit, and if a match is long, you need like it to like, and so this was a unique one because they did pack it with action.
Like
I thought that was your maybe. I was like, that's maybe Ryan's only shot of enjoying this because it is long.
There's the element of I do enjoy and respect, especially the fact that they were able to pack this thing jam-packed of action for 4 hours. I'm not saying like eating a bunch of ice cream and cake is necessarily a bad thing. I'm just saying I got bored of it after a while. You know, that's kind of what I mean by that. Is that like, I look, if you give me some Morton sherbet, if you give me some funfetti cake, if you give me, you know, some chocolate mousse, if you give me some tiramisu, you know, if you give me this sort of stuff over and over again, I'm like, this is great. I'm going to enjoy it. But after a while, I'm going to get extremely bored of it, even if it's all things I enjoy, right? If this match was 30 minutes, I would think it would be great. If it was 15 minutes, I would think it would be great. If they split this match into a series of 5 different matches, I would think the whole series was great. 60 minutes, I was just bored after a while from seeing so much greatness. Does that make sense?
Yeah. One thing I did, which probably didn't help it either, is I compared it to the other great Dynamite matches because a lot of people were talking about, oh, is this the greatest match of Dynamite history? I was like, no.
Omega, Danielson, Page, another 60-minute.
Danielson, Page twice.
True.
Just once, twice. The first 2 were incredible. I liked both of those better. I liked Danielson versus Omega better. I liked the FTR 2 out of 3 falls match that went an hour better. With and I think tag team
JY and Juice is what you're referencing.
Yeah, like I just thought of all the, and this isn't into it. I liked a lot more than this, but Roosh versus Danielson.
Yeah.
I always like to bring that one up when Ryan's around because that's a special match. Listen, if you liked it, you liked it. I don't have a problem with it. There's a lot of good like moves and a lot of high paced action. I didn't. There was too many things that I picked from that I was just like, all right, whatever. But you know,
can I give 2 tiny minuscule gripes that annoyed me that I realized that I don't enjoy? I fully hate lifts. I fully hate lifts in wrestling. Hook has them. MJF has them. Lifts in the boots.
That's
once I notice it annoys me.
That's hilarious, by the way.
Number 2, MJF wrestles the entire match with his eyes wide open. Look back and look at every MJF match moving forward, and you'll see that the entire match, his eyes are wide open the entire thing. He never like just looks normal. He's just always looking crazy with eyes wide open. You'll see it. The moment you see it, Scotty, you'll be like, "Oh no," because he doesn't.
I'm gonna say it on air. I'm gonna say it. I've never said this on air, but I'm gonna say it on air.
Oh my god! Yep. Oh my god! Oh my god! He admitted.
What?
I don't know what you're gonna say.
WWE won by MJF re-signing.
Wow.
Because he's actively ruining AEW TV, and not. If he was in WWE, he'd be probably good there. I'm sure. But like,
he'd be great. He'd be great in WWE.
But I think AEW would be a better product without him, for my taste. So I think WWE won by him staying.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they would have had a main event star that probably would be world champion, end of year type thing. But I think he hurts them more than helps if he was with them. No, hurts AEW more than he would help WWE. Because WWE is a machine, right? They don't need him.
Yeah.
And you know what? Maybe people won't listen to Ring Post Radio anymore after that. I'm sorry, but I just don't like this guy. Okay, I've accepted that. I moved on. There's a lot better wrestlers.
Yeah.
There's a lot better wrestlers that deserve the hype.
I fully agree with that. I think he is over pushed. I think if we knocked it down a little bit, I would enjoy the product more.
Mm-hmm.
I think last year ruined MJF so much for me that I was just like, I do not want to see this guy ever again. And now he is the AEW International Champion, and I'm going to see him wrestle, I don't know, Flip Gordon, Templario, Stuka Jr. In CMLL next week, I think. 2 weeks from now? I think it's next week.
We have a crazy take when we get to G1 stuff. So
okay, perfect. Yeah, no, I'm not really enjoying it. The rest of that AEW Dynamite, I thought the show wasn't as good. Like I said, I thought the match was 4 stars or whatever.
It felt like the Super Show wasn't as good as all the other weeks before.
Agreed. Fully agreed. That was my other take, is that everything else about it was not as good as the prior weeks.
You know, I've come off complaining. I've liked AEW more the past
I talked about last week.
I just want everyone to know that, man.
Literally last week I said, can I say yet that AEW's on a hot streak?
You blew it.
I blew it.
No, I heard Collision was good, so I'm actually excited to watch.
Collision was really good. There was like at least 3 great matches.
I like the. I always liked when NXT was in Full Sail.
Yeah,
and just based off the videos I've seen, this kind of gives that vibe.
The studio wrestling idea.
Yeah, studio wrestling's cool sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, I if they do this a few times, they should do this with Ring of Honor, or just make Ring of Honor better overall. So I'm interested to see that. AEW Dynamite's been hot, by the way. I don't want to say it's like the whole shows. We just talked about that. Collision, hopefully, with this residency, is kind of packed because you gotta have to sell tickets, right? Obviously, it's only like 1,200 per show, but
it was sold out last night. It was sold out last night. But I think also like even then, I think like Brandon Thurston or somebody did the math where they have to break even on whatever the deal is. It has to be like a couple hundred. Like when they get 1,200, it's like, oh, we've made so much more money. Like it's like the deal is so good, or something about it where it's like sellout is like, oh, it's easy money. They're making.
I don't mind it for Collision.
Mm-hmm. I'm fine with it for Collision.
Collision's live because I don't watch tape collisions.
I'm
that thing that anyone else does. Like when they tape that show, I'm like, that means I don't have to watch it.
I mean, that's sort of weirdly like an issue of like social media times. If it was taped and we knew nothing about it, sure. I would be fine with it.
But like, you see the cards, and sometimes it's like, oh well, I really don't need to watch. Like sometimes they just pack it in, which is fine because you're just accepting defeat to like SummerSlam or
I think
whatever.
Okay, hold on. I think Tony Khan has a different style of booking when it comes to live shows and tape shows.
Uh-huh.
I think Tony Khan is less interested in giving away great matches for tape shows than he is for live programming. And to a certain extent, that makes sense, right? Because the live programming, in theory, is going to draw in more people.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, if you can at least have one great match on like a taped collision, I think, and that rumor gets out that the match was great, people will then be intrigued to watch it, and you've just naturally built up some hype around the show because of this one great match. That's happened to me a lot, where it's like if it's like a Rampage and I hear about it, oh, this match was great, I'll go watch that Rampage.
Sure.
And I think like Ring of Honor and Rampage, these sort of shows, I think are those examples of like, I don't think he's interested in putting great matches on these shows per se, because they're taped. If they were live, like the pay-per-views for Ring of Honor, he would put more effort into them. That's my point.
Yeah.
We should stop dunking AEW.
Blood and Guts. I'll say this about Blood and Guts. As you know, I do not enjoy War Games the match. Has nothing to do with AEW. this has a chance because of how the first two have gone, because of how this build has gone. Anticlimactic, not very good. I feel like this is gonna be the best blood and guts match they've done, like wrestling wise.
It's not bad. It's pretty good.
Because you have Darby in there.
Yep. Who's gonna do insane shit.
Yep. And then you have Hangman and Swerve.
Jack Perry also throw in there. I'll say Mark Briscoe as well.
Hangman and Swerve are magical.
Yep.
Like these two don't. Like when they went face to face on Dynamite, I was ripping the shirt. I was like, hey, and then they ruined it. But it was a great moment for that 5 seconds. The tease. It was just a taste. And they should absolutely keep those two out of the ring until the end.
I am in two minds about it. I agree that they should be like the last two. There is something
Darby's definitely going the limit, by the way.
Yeah, I agree. I fucking agree with that. It'll probably be Darby Jack Perry to open up, maybe.
Yeah. No, it'll be Max Caster.
It'd be Max Caster and Matt Jackson.
Oh dear.
Here's the thing. Adam Page and Swerve have insane chemistry. They're both great hardcore guys as well. Jack Perry and Darby are great hardcore guys. The Young Bucks, they are great hardcore guys.
Yeah,
we all agree.
They should do Darby and Okada at all.
Mark Briscoe, I think, is a great hardcore guy. There's a lot of potential here. For sure. It's not going to be Darby Okada. They are teasing it to be at Wembley. This was on Collision last night. He cut a promo about it. Darby versus Jack Perry for the TNT title.
That'll be good. That's fine. What the hell's Okada doing then?
Don't know.
Don't know. We're not doing this. Not doing another rant about Okada.
But yeah,
people probably stop watching because the AEW hate that's been accidental.
We've stumbled into complaints. I think the Blood and Guts match. I agree with you. I think the Blood and Guts match here should be one of the better ones. I think there's a lot of potential. It's going to be
Okada versus Hologram. Duh.
Hologram had a good debut, I will say. There's a lot of potential here. So I'm in two minds of Adam Page and Swerve. I think they should either start and go the distance or end and go the distance. Or I've heard the idea of them not touching at all somehow. I do not know how you can do it, but if you can get away with them not touching, I think that would be crazy. Because then that would just build anticipation more for the next meeting. I don't know how you would do that, though.
I'm so excited for that match. Also, random thought before we go. Swerve does feel like he's like in a different stratosphere now in terms of like the guy. Like when I watched that show the other night, I was like, man, he just feels like they did whatever they're doing with him is correct. That was my take with Swerve.
I don't remember if I said this on Ring Post Radio, if we said after the fact, but it feels like Swerve has like similar booking to MJF last year, where he's just like beating all the top guys.
Yeah.
Yet for some reason, Swerve's character and motivations and story are way more interesting than anything MJF did last year. Sorry, stumbling into complaint. I'm stumbling into another complaint.
Well, no, but you're also praising Swerve.
I am.
Who's the world champion?
Swerve has been doing. The Adam Page storyline has been great. I think he's had great outings with Will Ospreay, with Danielson, with Joe.
Danielson. He hasn't even fought Danielson yet.
I've thought of Will Ospreay and I thought of Danielson after the fact. He will have a great outing with Bryan Danielson at Wembley.
You paused me for a second there. I was like, hold on.
The Okada one was like fine, but ends into a DQ.
It was getting good and then it got ruined. As Okada matches go, you need a lot of time to get there, right? I'm excited for Swerve versus Danielson, but I'm somehow way more excited for Hangman and Swerve. Part 3?
4?
4? 5? 6? 7? 8?
Keep it going.
75? 27?
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about something else before we heard AEW more.
Are you excited about Jericho Suzuki? All right, let's change it. I haven't looked at any of the comments yet, so apologies for people putting in the chat.
I wonder how Brit's gonna work.
Everything. Hey, Scott and Ryan. Good morning from the East Coast. Right back at you from the East Coast. Jersey Drake in the chat. It's crazy how the only division that is struggling in AEW is the tag division, but it feels like it should be hard to fix. Right?
Right. But then when you go through the tag teams, sure feels tough.
Connor Houston, who helps TK book? Does he need more help? Better help? I think better help is the better idea.
Help?
If I had if we had the sponsorship, that would be a perfect transition. But I think better help is honestly like the idea. And then I think when we were talking about developing talent, Connor Oster wrote, yeah, of course, there's Megan Bain. Not sure what's happening there. I think at this point, can we as a group completely write off Megan Bain and Camille?
Oh, yeah. Camille works for this company, though.
She hasn't shown up.
Megan Bain does.
Scotty, I've heard the same thing about EJ and Duca.
EJ and Duca wrestled yesterday.
Great, good for him. Finally, he shows up for this work. Shows up to work.
I don't think that's his fault. I don't think that was his fault.
He's been doing like a crap ton of dark matches, but like, if Camille works for this company, I don't see her. Megan Bain works for this company.
Megan Bain, I'm going to tell everyone this now. Hand wave. Moving forward. It seems she has decided GCW is her way. I'm going to let her have that. She could have been a major star in multiple promotions. All the reports are out. Everything's on the table now. She's had multiple companies that are pretty big want her efforts. I don't know what happened with AEW. I can't tell you what happened with AEW.
I think she had a contract. Remember, she had a contract because Tony Khan said that she had a contract because he was getting a bunch of flack about the Stardom stuff. Remember, that is how the rumors of Megan Bain having an AEW contract started. I said to that response of, well, she got an AEW contract before that, if people don't remember, but she was given an AEW contract and she was having music and Titantrons made for her on Dark, and she was being presented on Dark, so she must have had some sort of tier 1 deal or whatever, number, low tier deal on AEW, and then she got injured and tore her ACL, I think it was.
Yeah, she's out for a long time.
And she was out for a long time, which AEW typically keeps those people under contract. And then when she got better, she went over to Stardom. I don't know. She was obviously still under contract. I think, to me, it's very obvious that she is no longer under contract. That's how I see it.
Well, that's what was reported by Fightful.
Yeah.
She's not on contract anymore. Confusing.
Stop bringing her up. Stop bringing her up, everybody.
Well, no. People keep bringing her up because here's the thing about, I'll say this about Megan Bain, then we'll move on. She should be a big star.
She's a great free agent signing, which is why she got picked up by WWE soon.
She should.
Why not?
She should be. I'm not talking about her anymore. I've had to talk about this woman ad nauseum for like 5 months because she hasn't popped up anywhere. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm done.
Yeah.
Finished. Dave put a report in the Observer about her. You can read that. I tweeted it too, but you can read that. I'm done.
Zavi in the chat. Did y'all mention that match sucks so bad the cage match had to change it? This is in reference to MJF and Will Ospreay.
That did happen. That did happen.
Yeah. It was so controversial of a match. The cage match, I was like, fine, we'll change the rules again.
2 rules. They changed it twice in like a day.
Yeah.
Man.
Do you know what Dave gave the match?
5 3/4. Mm-hmm. That was probably the worst rating I've ever seen him give.
It
was expected, though.
Cinematerial Arts. Don't know how to say it. I think it's Cinemarshall, maybe. Might be Okada versus Hangman at Wembley. It'll be him turning against the Elite, who are heels, but you have to keep Hangman heel.
I don't hate it. Hangman's not a heel.
He's self-righteous. Well, he's self-righteous heel. He's still, booed and all these sort of. He's acting like a heel, even though he's right.
Did all these things to him, and we turned on him.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, I never turned on you, buddy. I'm still riding with you, bud. Just letting you know. Get your old theme song back, though. Thanks.
I don't know. I would be weary because might be a heel versus heel thing. Yes, Hangman is self-righteous, but the problem is that if you put him against another heel, my fear is that he will get cheered. And right now you want him to get booed.
Yeah, because All Out, that's the match.
His current character doesn't work if he's getting cheered.
Right. Yeah, you're right. All right, let's stop talking about AEW.
All right, let's talk about G1.
Speaking of AEW, Konosuke Takeshita.
Speaking of AEW, so the G1 Climax Night 1 took place on Saturday, Edion Arena in Osaka, Japan. 4,177 people in attendance. I'll look up to see if that's pretty good. I feel like that's pretty decent.
Pretty good.
The next night they had 2,545. So, and the same building.
That is not.
That is not. But I'll look to see if I can get other comparisons.
Looks at the cards. All right, kind of makes sense.
They did 800. Oh, no, that's a different building. I'll look up other stuff in a moment.
Main event in any arena.
Well, let's talk about the show. We'll go through match by match real quickly. We'll start off with first match, Oleg Boltin coming out.
Yeah!
New gear, new color, and a new hat. I was gonna do a bit where I was gonna put on my fluffy hat for the Oleg Boltin segment. I forgot to get it until now. But what do you think of him defeating Ren Narita, picking up 2 points in night 1?
Perfect. No notes. Exactly what they needed to do. Ren did exactly what he was supposed to do in this match. And Boltin now hits the F5. They're seeing it. They just gotta go all the way now. He is their Brock. Except, he's still like, I know he's still green, but to me that's more enjoyable than like some main event guys. Because like you just watch him learn on the job and he's getting better and he's improving. He's the guy that's gonna save New Japan. Because I'll tell you who's not. Uno is not.
His opponent, Ren Narita.
Well, no, Ren's not gonna save it either. No. Oleg, he's good. He's got it. Like whatever it is, I can feel it. You can feel it. You can see it. There's an intensity about him. He's still figuring things out.
Still green.
But that's why he's in the G1. Figure it out on the fly, baby.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait.
Speaking of still green,
Ren Narita.
I thought you were gonna go to the next match, so I could.
I was going to bring up Center Martial Arts had a response to us. He said Okada gets cheered though.
That he does a lot.
That he does.
He's the worst heel in the business when it comes to getting booed.
Good point. That is a good point.
He never gets booed. He says bitch and everyone loves it. Yep.
That is a good point.
When I say bitch, no one loves it. It's kind of unfair.
Next match. Speaking of bitches that no one loves.
Oh my god. All right. That was wow. I thought I was gonna be bad, but
I saw the joke and I went for it. I don't mean it. Callum Newman.
Sure you don't.
Know. And 9 minutes and 46 seconds. Newman, I would I'll undoubtedly say a upset win over here, picking up 2 points over Shota Umino.
This match stunk.
This match,
I did not like this match at all.
This match,
Shota, I'll let you go, but I have 2 takes.
This match had a lot of chemistry issues. These guys could not wrestle with each other. They could not get on the same page, and it led to a decent number of botches, decent number of mistakes during the matches.
Oh boy!
And it was 10 minutes of just like we're trying to put something together. Like it felt like it felt like I was watching like a high level indie match where it's like they're going for a lot of like high spots and moves and speed and intensity, but they don't have it figured out yet fully, or they don't even have the chemistry yet fully. So when they put it all together, it just doesn't come out great because they don't exactly know what they're doing. And that, to be fair, Newman is 21 years old. He's been wrestling for several years, but he's still extremely young. So I'll give him a little bit of benefit of the doubt there. Shota Umino, 27, wrestling just as long as Callum Newman.
Back from injury.
come back from injury, so maybe that's as well. But hey, people told me this guy was the next Ace, so I don't know.
So I'm here to say that one, holy shit, Callum Newman, stop trying to be Will Ospreay. For the love of God, stop.
This match was the match of cosplayers.
Oh my God. I was like, dude, you're not gonna be him.
I'm fine with it right now, just because it's like a way to connect to the crowd. I think he needs to eventually develop into his own character.
People get mad about Shota being a cosplayer. This guy is literally doing Ospreay. He added pants now. Like the look is Ospreay from Wish. You know, it's like
I will reject that to the point where Shota Umino has been a cosplayer for like 3 years, and Callum Newman has been Ospreay for like a year, maybe a couple months. That's like it worked with Shota Umino when he was coming out like Moxley and came back from Excursion at first, right? To create connections to the audience, just like Newman is doing.
I want you to know, I think they both suck.
I understand that, but I'm just explaining my viewpoint of why I disagree. I think it's serving as a connection. The problem is Newman cannot do this next year, or especially the year after.
He's also not as good.
And the year after is the point that Shota Umino is at, where I'm like, I don't want to see him be the cosplay. Give me give me something that's original out of Shooter right now.
Shooter has gotten rid of all his charisma.
Mm-hmm. Because he didn't have any charisma, because his charisma was just cosplaying from other guys. Sorry, go ahead.
His look is terrible. Doesn't have any star look there.
He's getting that gut back.
Well, listen, he just was injured, so like I'll give him that. That's fine. You take a while to get back. That's not the problem. It's the hair, the pants. He at least looked like a star. Once upon it, like when he first came back with the long hair and the pant, whatever. He's not. I told you going into this tournament, I'm out on all of them. I'm done.
Well, not technically, not all of them.
Well, here's the thing, though. We'll get to it. I might be coming back in, but not on Shota Umino. I heard he had a good match with what's his name today though, Shingo. So
Shingo, to be fair.
I don't know, man. Listen, here's my other hot take.
Shingo compared to Callum Newman. It's gonna be
you make a good point. But like, remember when Shingo had like this Wrestler of the Year run at the beginning of the year? Everyone started talking about it, and then everything just stopped. Just like we'll talk about the night. Whatever.
Next match, Hanare.
I like most of this show, by the way. I just want everyone to know that. Like the complaints were early. I don't have any more after. I didn't watch this match because obviously
Hanare defeats El Phantasmo. You said you didn't watch this match?
No, I couldn't.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. It wasn't like a great runaway thing. It was third on the card, right? But it was what it was pretty good. El Phantasmo, I think, was still doing solid work. Hanare, I think what's good about Hanare is that he doesn't write, especially against El Phantasmo here, he didn't feel like 2023, 2022, or especially older Hanare. He felt like and he wrestled still sort of like that, the wild man style that he wrestled in the Shingo series of matches and the steel cage. Like it feels like he's locked into that identity as a wrestler, and he is continuing with it, and it's working for him, for me. And I think for the crowd as well, obviously. Because pre that it was just like he's still kind of boring. Here it's like he's got a little bit of like he's wrestling different and wrestling more chaotically or more wild manning, and I think it's working for me.
That's someone else's gimmick.
El Bavario Cavanario.
Oh, he would have been a fun G1 wrestler. And I got.
Moving on, Zack Sabre Jr. defeats Great-O-Khan. I will say this: I don't support the guy, but where's brother got to grab the cop the Great-O-Khan fight shorts? And do they come in Zack Sabre Jr. orange?
I thought that was pretty fun. I liked the brawl aspect. I'm not a big Great O'Khan guy. But like he's good at grappling, obviously. That's his background. So like him and Zach did that well. But I also like the chaos of it early on. Like him trying to take the fight to Zach. I think this is where the show turns for me of like, okay, I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
It wasn't like anything special. But
sure. It was a fun, enjoyable match. I like that instead of like a chop back and forth or an elbow back and forth, it was just like suplexes.
Yeah, that was good.
I was like, that's fun. It was a little bit too long, but it was still like extremely fun to see in something different.
Checks, results, 11 minutes. Okay.
Next up, J1 Climax Block B match. Jeff Cobb defeats Hiroki Goto in 7 minutes 24.
This was fun too.
Also very fun. Very good.
Last fight. Hiroki Goto might be back.
Might be back.
Might be back, guys. Just
Jeff
saying.
Cobb,
He might not win it all, but he might be back.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good match. I thought it was
Hiroki Goto versus Oleg. Got a big circle on that one. I was like, okay, that's the match that's really going to help Oleg, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think Oleg Bolton, I mean, even Cobb, I think would be an interesting match at least.
Now let's talk about a main event in any arena.
Jake Lee defeats Sonata in 4 minutes and 57 seconds. I saw someone tweet out the idea that it was a great idea on Jake Lee's part to wrestle a sub 5 minute match so it can't get rated on Cage Match. Great start. So Jake Lee defeats Sonata 4 minutes and 57 seconds. It feels like a little bit of a squash. Sonata gets some offense, but it very felt like Jake Lee was getting pushed here. And it very much feels like Jake Lee is getting pushed hard in New Japan. I do not know what his result is the next night against Evil, but
I'm scared. I'm so scared.
If he beat Evil as well, I'm like Jake Lee is at minimum, Scotty. I think he can be a final 3 in his block. Because you have to remember, he's going to beat Sonata here. If he beats Evil, that's something. He's, I think, undoubtedly beating Tetsuya Naito. Undoubtedly beating Naito. And that's 6 points right there. He just has to beat Great O'Khan, Shota Umino, Callum Newman. You know, he's got other people to beat. Scotty, you're crying.
I can't stand this guy. He sucks so bad. Oh my god, the comparisons to him and I felt bad for Sonata when they stepped in this ring. I was like, man, he hates Sonata. He wishes he was Sonata. Shut the hell up. Oh god. Oh. I don't. Okay, so one thing. Not the match is fine. I want to just put that out there. But why? Why is he?
The match undoubtedly could have been worse.
Oh, for sure. They had a good pace.
Should have been worse, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, if they went like the 20 minutes that Sonata off to goes, we would have been in for hell. But you know, we didn't, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
God, why does people like? Why? I don't get it. I don't get it.
This guy has lost up from All Japan to Noah to New Japan, where there's a good chance
the most incredible career I've ever seen in my life.
Yes. I don't know if he'll win the IWGP title, but I think it's plausible. I was listening to
the youngest to ever do it, the 3.
I was listening to the Emerald Flow show, and I believe it was Gerard Trolio, previous guest on the ballot on patreon.com/counterpod. And he mentioned about how, I think it was Gerard that mentioned that Jake Lee has always sort of served as a stopgap. You know, he can be champion while we were developing younger talent. Nope. All Japan did it. Noah did it. And I'm looking at New Japan, I'm saying, they have a lot of younger talent that they need to develop. You could put the title on Jake Lee to just bide some time, you know, create some time to develop all these younger stars into bigger stars, and then you have like a whole new generation ready to go. When like right now, everyone has something, but everyone else also missing something. And I looked at that, I was like, Jake Lee could easily win the IWGP title at some point.
Oh God, that'd be like Jinder Mahal winning the WWE Championship.
Yes.
Am I wrong?
No.
No, I'm not. Listen. Jake Lee's best matches, right, have come against Kento Miyahara. I don't know if you know this, guys. It's not because of Jake Lee.
I've watched all of them. They were really good. They're great.
They are. You know what's crazy? 3 of them, Dave has rated 4 3/4. I didn't know they were women's matches. Shit. Who knew? I'm just here to make jokes, folks.
I didn't realize Jake Lee wrestled in Stardom.
Please don't do that. The way he's been going, that's a possibility. Don't do that to me. Keep him out of here. Yeah, this match was fine though. It could have been a lot worse. Like
could have been a lot worse. It's just the bigger talking point of this is, oh, they are pushing Jake Lee. They are undoubtedly pushing.
Oh, they sure are. We're in trouble.
Beating a former IWGP champion this way, 4 minutes and 57 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Yuya Uemura defeats David Finlay. I think a little bit also a shock victory here. 60 minutes and 23 seconds.
You want to hear my shock of the day?
Sure.
It's my second favorite match on the show.
Whoa. Talk me into it. Talk me into the door.
I think not only Yuya has... I'm coming back. Listen, he still wrestles like Ricky Steamboat. I've accepted this, okay? But
that's fine.
This was his best match since coming back.
Yeah.
And having against David Finlay.
I think I agree. I agree that it
was hot take again. I don't think it's that bad anymore. He got rid of the Jay White thrift shop stuff, and he's just David Finlay now.
He's been better, quietly really good to great this year. And I'm saying this. Remember, Wrestle Kingdom. I'm the only guy that was like, David Finlay was pretty good in the match at Wrestle Kingdom. Granted, it was with Moxley and who was the other mother trucker?
Ospreay.
Yeah. But I thought David Finlay held his own there. And then I thought the steel cage match was pretty good. And now it's like, and New Japan Cup, pretty good. And here it's like, you still.
Man, I look at this block and I'm like, I'm looking at the B block, right? Is he the second best wrestler in it?
No, because Oleg Bolton's in it.
You're right. Never mind. Yeah. Is he the third best wrestler?
Well, Takeshita Tsuji.
Takesha's first, by the way. I just want everyone to know.
First. Bolton is second. Hiroki Goto is also in the block.
I think it's for me. It's like Finlay, Tsuji, and Goto are the. You can fight on any of them. Obviously, Oleg Bolton's the second best. But in all seriousness, so this match, I'm watching it, right? I'm like, all right, here we go. I'm not enthused. David Finlay's been quietly like winning me over in the past. I talked about it on the show. I said I was going to become a fan of his just because. And then I was like, wait a minute. He's actually wrestling well.
He's growing. He's like a fungus.
It took him a year to figure it out. And I think that's okay. We all want wrestlers to figure it out immediately. Sometimes it takes them a little long. And that's kind of how I'm feeling about Yuya. Listen, Yuya still has ways to go. But he was exciting in this match. He was moving better. Like he just wrestled a complete match. I feel like a lot of his other big matches, he has felt not fitting for the stage.
Yes.
And this one, I felt like with Finlay, they just clicked, which was, again, so weird to me. Because I was like, there's no way this is the match that Yuya Uemura at least has a good show. I'm not even saying this is like a fantastic, great match. It was just a good showing from both. David Finlay hit a Dominator. Folks, I love the Dominator. That's my move. He hit like the best one I've seen in years. He slammed Uemura tonight. And the final stretch was hot.
Yeah.
They're hitting good strikes.
David
Finlay hit a big lariat. It was heat storm, of course.
It was a hot storm stretch.
It was hot. It was hot. But I liked the upset. I was like, oh, that's a good upset. I don't know. I'm waiting to see. I'm not gonna say I'm backing on Yuya Uemura because it takes a lot. It doesn't take one match.
One match. Yeah.
Right. But like compared to where I was coming into this, I'm like, maybe this is what he needed. He needed the tournament. We always talk about give him until the G1.
Yeah.
It's a good start. It's not like, it's not, he's not going to have a 5-star classic tomorrow. I accept that. But give me good performances. That's all I'm asking for.
I haven't thought about my ratings yet, but I do largely agree with you that it was the biggest shock of the night is how good this match was.
Thank you. Okay. I was kind of scared. I was like crazy on it.
No, it was really good. I think it is one match for Yuya Uemura, but it was a really good outing. And I think you're right that it was his best outing. David Finlay, I think like a fungus has been slowly growing,
like a fungus, baby.
slowly growing on us over the course of the year.
That'll be the name of his documentary. David Finlay, like a fungus. Gato saying it in his raspy voice.
My thought would immediately thought of a Weird Al-esque parody. Instead of like a virgin, it's like a fungus. Some fan get working on that. But yeah, but he's been slowly growing on me over the year, obviously. And it's become a trend where it's like, all right, maybe he doesn't suck eggs. Maybe he's actually a responsible wrestler. And I don't think he's the best on the roster, but I think he's certainly in the top half.
I think he's definitely, for sure. I think that's the best way to look at it.
And I think also like he knew probably that he needed to improve a lot for this year because people had those discussions of like, he might be getting lapped by all these young guys. Not
being Jay White 2.
Yep.
And being his style. Because this is going to sound funny, but he's a Finlay. The style is bruiser. The style is hard hitting. It's not Jay White.
Yes.
Be yourself. And it's a lot better. It's a lot better. I'm really looking forward to him and Takeshita. I'm really looking forward to that. Now. Him and Tsuji also. I liked their match. I don't remember the show. They have so many shows. But like when they had a match a few months ago, I liked it. Looking forward to that. This block's weird for me, but we'll see.
A lot of people in New Japan get training wheels, especially when they like turn heel or debut or turn face or whatever. They get training wheels. I mean, like I just said, I think Callum Newman has Osprey training wheels on right now.
Sure.
I think Yuya Uemura a little bit had that, sort of that. David Finlay certainly had that with the Jay White stuff, right? And I think the training wheels are off, and David Finlay's been doing really well. Good work.
Yeah. Uemura I've been very out on, but the fact that I'm even back in after this show tells you how good I think he did. Mm-hmm. Just got to piece it together now.
Agreed. Speaking of piecing it together, I guess that's my transition. Evil beats Gabe Kidd in 10 minutes and 21 seconds. Obviously, the match was longer because a lot of pre-match antics, which I thought was hot, extremely hot.
This was fun.
I thought this was a fun match.
Yeah, Evil's fun. As I like to tell the world, Evil's fun, guys.
This is a pro House of Torture podcast, of course.
Forever. I think I've just become pro Evil. I don't even think it's the rest of the group anymore for me. It's just because I don't see anyone else wrestle in the group. But this is how you want to do the Evil match.
Yeah.
Gabe's getting cheered.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. One of the things I really liked about this night is that everyone came at it with speed and intensity, whatever that meant to them. Evil, he did have tiny lulls, but for the most part, I'm seeing Evil running around and doing a bunch of crazy stuff, keeping up with Gabe Kidd. I really enjoyed his performance here. Again, not like the best of the night or anything, but like really enjoyed what they're doing here. I thought the brawls on the outside were entertaining and hot for the crowd. The chairs swinging back and forth. I love seeing Evil running around, doing clotheslines and stuff when he's not just like, because for a long time in House of Torture, it was just kind of walking around.
Right. They just stopped having him wrestle.
Yes. I want to see guys running. I want to see guys bombing each other. And there were bombs. There were bombs getting thrown this match.
I always like to bring up Evil can have a good match.
Yeah.
He's just not asked to. Like they're like, just go do the House of Torture bullshit. He's like, okay, fine.
More
Give
than
me the
happy.
night off.
Yeah, more than happy
Which
to do that.
I was admittedly scared about heading into this tournament because with no Yano, I felt like, Newman could be the night off for most, and he probably will be. But I was a little scared they'd make Evil do that. They did not do that in this first show, which I appreciate. Again,
Agreed.
not like a match of the night or anything, but it was fun. That's all I'm looking for from Evil, because I know he can have fun matches. Shout out to Tonga versus Evil. Shout out to Hiromu versus Evil. Shout out to probably something else that I can't remember.
Versus Evil.
Yeah, versus Evil. But yeah, this was fun. This 3-match stretch from Finley, Uemura, Evil, Gabe Kidd, and then the next one was like a nice, like, I don't know if I expected the next one to be great, to be fair. But everything else, like, this is good. This is good. I'm having a fun time.
Hassan Albani in the chat, I think, is a good word to what you're describing. He was impressed by Takeshita and Evil. I think impressed by Uemura, Finley, Evil. I think there was a stretch of just like, oh, this is better than I expected. The expectations being different for New Japan nowadays.
But the next match,
it's a shirt ripper.
Oh my!
Can we somehow make a shirt that is a picture of us ripping a shirt open? Like it's the picture, not Superman, but it's like almost Hulkamania, but it's just like the shirt being ripped by like hands.
That'd be good.
That's an idea.
There's a shirt that's like, yeah, no, I like that.
Yeah. Konosuke Takeshita defeats Yota Tsuji in 17 minutes and 12 seconds. Scotty?
Konosuke Takeshita is the best wrestler in the G1, and it's not close. It's not close. He is on such another level from these guys, and you saw it from the entrance. This isn't like an AEW thing either. He just gets it.
No, he came out to his DDT music, so it becomes a DDT,
which instantly was better, by the way. His DDT music, great. He's just that guy. Like, there is an aura to him. There, I said the word. And he's just amazing. Like, this dude's phenomenal, and he stepped in there with Tsuji, and there was an energy about it. There was fire about it. You want to talk about speed and intensity, Ryan? This was all of that. This was all of that. When Takeshita hit the first jumping knee, I leaped out of my chair. Not because like it was like this big crash or anything. He just got so high. I was like, this dude just jumped over the top rope, like straight up. If he like in the end when he goes for the gene blaster and he hits the knee and then he just ends it. He just ends it. He's like, no, we're not sitting here doing false finishes. We're just, oh my God, this. Good luck beating this G1, truthfully, because like this was great. This is the G1.
Yeah.
I watched this match. I said, this is the G1. And I was like, they kept it in the Tsuji limit of under 20. That's what I wanted. Tsuji under 20, special wrestler. Tsuji over 20, I might give up.
It hasn't figured it out yet. He doesn't have enough ideas. That's fine.
Good.
That's fine.
Here's an idea. Don't make it over 20. It doesn't have to be over 20. That's my hot take. No, this was great. This was great. I watched this last. I watched Naito and Shingo first, and then this because I knew I was going to like
it. You made it your main event.
Damn right I did. Damn right I did. Takeshi's the man. Tsuji, I'm back in, buddy. I couldn't be mad at you for too long.
Yeah, you went out on the doghouse. You slept on the couch for that Forbidden Door match. You were on the doghouse, but you're back in. You're back in the house. You're back in bed.
Sometimes the lights are too bright when you're in there with Mystico. I get it. You get it. I get it. But you're back. We're back. I believe in you again, Suj. Mm-hmm. I'm with you. You and Uemura. I believe. The other two, we'll see day 2.
Let's do a quick. It's not the top 3. It's not even the top 4 because I want to include Oiwa. Let's do a quick ranking. Tsuji. Oh man. Okay, no, I'm gonna do a quick ranking. Here are your rankings: Tsuji, Kid, Uemura, Shota Umino. What?
They said top 3.
No, there's gonna be 6 people you have to figure out.
All right, I'm ready.
Tsuji, Kid, Uemura, Ren Narita, Shota Umino, Ryohei Oiwa.
All right. First, Bolton Oleg.
I'm not including Bolton Oleg because he's like just outside that group, you know.
Okay, no, that's fair. He would be first though. This is a good question.
I like
first.
the pillar updates, this sort of thing.
Yeah. Oil's first because I just think he's amazing, and he's probably gonna have like one of the best Puro World Title matches with Kaito.
I need to see him have a great N1.
He's got the right opponents.
Yes, he has everything in the making. If he can have a great N1, I'm like, yes.
He's first mentally going in because I'm not down on him in any way, you know?
Correct.
Like I felt good about him with everything he's done. So he's first. Try to remember the other five.
Gabe Kidd, Uemura, Shota Umino, Ren Narita, Tsuji.
Okay. I think I'll go Suge.
Okay.
Probably it's process elimination by default now. Gabe.
Okay. At 3.
Yuya.
4.
Shota and Ren.
Yeah. Ren unmovable.
Ren is comfortably in the bottom. Not his listen, it's his gimmick. He doesn't have like a world that he needs to do more to impress. Like this is just him. Like I think he does what he's supposed to be doing. He does it well. But like I'm not going to get excited about his matches.
I think the biggest mistake New Japan made is by
calling him Shibata.
No. I think it's making Ren Narita a heavyweight.
Oh, I agree. I think he'd be a great junior.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think if he was part of the juniors, I would be totally okay with it.
I was starting to feel that way about Uemura for a while, but Uemura's too big to be a junior. He would have looked like Buddy Murphy on 205 Live. So
he's technically 98 kilograms.
Yeah, could have done it. But he just looks big. And honestly, I think that's my list. Honestly, after like Tsuji, I think Gabe and Uemura are like the same level for me because the reason I say that is because one, I think Gabe Kidd just probably signed somewhere, so it's like I don't want to put too much stock in him and his New Japan future.
Sure.
It's just how it goes. Uemura gave me a lot of hope. I don't know why. Maybe it's false. Who did he wrestle today? 1 second. Let me see who he wrestled today. Am I going to be feeling this way in like a few hours when I watch his match? Hiroki Goto!
Yes, you are. That was so close to a what's the guy's name? The guy that ran for president several years ago, the Scream. What's his name? God, I love that. What's his name? God, it's gonna annoy me. I love it. I do it all the time. Jesse and I do that all the time. We'll just do that. Yeah.
What's your ranking for them?
I would probably say.
I'm guessing it's similar.
Yeah, it's probably
Big Suge.
It's probably Suge Oiwa. I don't know if I feel like I've seen enough Oiwa. That's why I'm like, I need a great N1. And Tsuji, I've seen like, I like him a lot still. But he's like not as high. He's lower.
Yeah,
and like
it's
he's
closer.
It's very close, like a 1A, 1B sort of thing.
Once upon a time was high.
Yeah, I would say Tsuji. I would then say Oiwa. I think I would then say Kid, and then I would say Uemura.
And then Shota and Ren.
I would say no. I think I would
Ren and then Shota.
I think I'd say Ren and then Shota because Ren is a hand wave. Ren Narita is a hand wave, and Shota Umino makes me mad.
Yeah. I used to be a big Shota guy.
Yeah, I was Tsuji and you were Shooter.
Called him the future ace. Nah, I'm done. Get the hell out of here. Yeah. Get out of here. You know what? I'm switching Ren and Shota too. Screw it. Shout out to Ren.
Woo!
You know why? Because Ren made Oleg look good. Callum Newman and Shota Umino, they didn't look good at all. All Bolton would be at the top, by the way. Obviously.
Agreed. Main event, Shingo Takagi defeats Tetsuya Naito in 23 minutes and 14 seconds.
Oh, Naito.
Now he had some fun. Sad, he was having some fun out there.
He was. Listen, I didn't think the match was really that bad until the Destino thing. Like, they were off a little bit, but like, listen, he's not going to have the 5-star classic anymore. I know that. But that Destino, man, it's just every match now. It's like, I can't defend. I've defended Naito a lot on this show. Just start running into it now. Like, because clearly you can't do the setup one anymore. So just start running into that. Or just, hit, what's the Northern Lights bomb he does? What's that called?
Gloria? Yes, the Gloria.
Just start doing that as you finish, dude. It looks nasty. It's easier. Just trying to help him.
What about adding a submission? Thoughts?
Like a real submission, not like the one that he does with his legs and he acts like, I can't get it, which is always pops me every time. No, that'd be good.
I'm not saying like a money clip situation.
He's got to follow the Muto. Yeah. When Muto's knees were gone, Muto just spammed the Shining Wizard. But I'm not saying do that, but like make your moveset more basic. Naito used to do all these crazy things. You just can't do them anymore. And that's okay. He's still, I don't know. I still think he's good. Like, I don't think Naito's he's best day.
I think he's like,
he's in Tanahashi era of like the past 2 years where if he has a bad knee day, it's not going to be a good day.
I was going to say, he's like pandemic 2021, 2022 Tanahashi.
Yeah.
That's really what he is. Where he's like, it's like, it is, he is winding down. His body is starting to break down. And maybe 2 years from now, he won't be able to go anymore. He is not actively bad, but he is not great anymore.
No. I think why people act like he's like the worst wrestler of all time now, which is not true, but they act like it, is because they expect greatness.
Mm-hmm.
They just expect greatness from him because that's what he did for so long. But man, you want to talk about a guy that shouldn't be going anymore? It's him. That man has like 75 knee surgeries. He can barely see out of an eye or something. Like,
yeah, the irony.
I give him a break, truthfully. Like, he shouldn't be wrestling all these singles matches. I'll tell you that. If they made a rule this year where the champion wasn't in the tournament, I would have been like, good. Keep him out. Like, let him get healthy.
One more person get on the G1,
Let him get healthy because like he doesn't stop working. Yes, he does the t-shirt thing, but he wrestles in those matches. That's still movement. That's still, I give him a break because I like him. And
my fear is if you give him too long of a break, his body would break down even more.
Yeah, you're probably right. Okay, well, keep him tags then. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what happened to Tanahashi though. He was off for a while, and then he just never was the same. So, yeah, you're probably right. That's probably his call too. I'm sure Naito's like, nah, just keep going.
But tag team. I mean, at this point, I think this has got to be his last world title run. I think. That's I think he has to get cycled down now to something.
To me, the idea is to put someone over at Wrestle Kingdom, then he'll happily be cycled down. He'll still pop up for a big match here and there because he's still Naito and he's still going to
big time challenge.
That's why he's in the spot now. It is the Band-Aid on the Okada Ospreay exit, which it's a very good Band-Aid for New Japan to have.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
He probably isn't loving being the Band-Aid, truthfully, but it's like,
he is.
He'll do anything for New Japan. That's very clear.
42 years old. He's as old as Chris Sabin.
And his knees are, like 75 years old.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I said, Muto. Follow the Muto strategy.
Yeah. You said that there was a surprise win or something for night 2?
Oh, yeah.
Spoilers if you've not heard night 2.
Ryan, it's over.
It's over. It's already over.
Zack Sabre Jr. beat Naito. It's over.
Night not be over.
It's over.
Here we can't. Okay, hold on. You have to keep this in mind. Jake Lee is also going to beat Naito. You're telling me that like all three of these guys are going to be defenses?
I'm worried. They never. Kenny Omega is the only foreigner that's won the G1.
Correct.
I am now worried. The Naito match was like the one where it's like, okay, if he loses, I got a lot of hope. If he wins,
there's certainly, I think it's the expectation. If he wins, I think I'm more worried because I think I did see that he like grabbed the belt and was wearing it.
Oh no.
That's to me that like
I'm gonna challenge a Capital Collision.
I like that's the thing. So what we're thinking like there's 2 challenges, right? I think one of them is Jake. Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's 3
Charlton
challenges.
Hinted at 3. He said Capital Collision.
Okay.
King of Pro Wrestling.
Great.
And they have some show in Kobe, which will probably be Shingo.
King of Pro Wrestling should probably be Great O'Khan, but
the Kobe one will probably be Shingo because of the Dragon Gate connection.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And he beat him. So that's my guess.
Jake Lee is not going to be Capo Collision.
Jake Lee would probably be King of Pro Wrestling.
Jake Lee will probably be KO Pro Wrestling or Zack Sabre Jr. if Jake Lee wins, but that's an alternate reality I don't want to live in. Capital Collision will probably, I mean, it should probably be American. I mean, could it be Zack Sabre Jr. versus Naito at Capital Collision? That's a big match for a DC New Japan show.
Hold. Let me see what they did at the last Capital Collision. That's
a really big match. And I know like Moxley and Naito was really big, but that was also a big arena. And this is not a big arena, if I recall correctly.
Fun fact, it's not called Capital Punishment.
Yes, that is the WWE one-off pay-per-view in Washington, D.C. The main event, I believe, was R-Truth and John Cena.
So last year, they had no big title match on the show.
Great.
The first year, they had Juice Robinson versus Hiroshi Tanahashi versus John Moxley versus Will Ospreay.
And that was a good match.
Yeah. Shout out to Juice, baby.
This is taking place in the Entertainment and Sports Arena. Oh, I've driven past this arena before. It's tiny.
It's the same one they ran last year.
Okay, so this is a small building. The capacity says 4,200.
They did 2,100 last year.
Yeah, so unless they're going for that 4,000 with Zack Sabre, which I think is stupid for Zack Sabre Jr. and Naito, there's no way they're doing it.
I'm just worried, man.
There's no way. I mean, I don't know who they would do it against. They might not even do it, right? You know, we saw that they haven't done it in the past couple days, past couple shows.
I am worried.
I get it. I think I would be more worried if it's not Zack Sabre Jr. I think it's Jake Lee.
What if it's Yu Uemura?
No, no, it's not gonna be Yu Uemura.
Hear me out.
No, I'll hear you out if you said Oleg Bolton. I'm not gonna hear you out if it's Yu Uemura. It's not there yet.
I know it's.
Oleg Bolton should win all the titles.
Oleg Bolton should go undefeated. Actually,
you know how we did that evil graphic, where he's holding a bunch of titles.
Yeah, we're gonna do Oleg Bolton, Ultimo Dragon.
And that's Suji. There's evil. Can we do Oleg Bolton, but it's the Kurt Angle?
That's a good one.
Kurt Angle, TNA.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do the next one.
I think that's what we need. Anyways, the only other thing we had on our run sheet was TNA Slammiversary. I watched it. You did not. Do you want to walk me through it real quickly, and I can give you some quick thoughts on it?
I'll walk with you.
You'll walk with Ryan.
Matt Hardy defeats JDC.
A fine match. After the match, Matt Hardy hit JDC. If you don't know, is Fandango, Dirty Dango.
I
don't know what JDC stands for because it was very recent. It could be Johnny Curtis. It could be Johnny Dango Curtis. It could be Just Don't Care. I don't really know. But it certainly felt like it was the latter in this match.
That's me when I watch him.
This was the first Matt Hardy match I've seen this year. And it was fine. It was totally
whopping
fine.
4 minutes and 38 seconds.
You know what I found out? I was thinking about this going into the show. I have 2 major complaints about the show about the lack of NXT involvement, which, by the way, there was only one match of NXT involvement. even though that's the hottest thing in TNA right now.
Big NXT fan is right.
Big NXT fan, of course. I love Motor City Machine Guns and Stephanie.
Wants his TNA with more NXT.
And number 2, who is like the newest hottest like person that came into the company?
I don't know.
Jeff Hardy. Remember there was podcasts.
Well, he can't be there, dude.
Jeff Hardy should be the world champion. You know where Jeff Hardy's not? You know why Jeff Hardy's not there right now?
Because he can't go to Canada.
Yes, because he can't go to Canada. He can't. Matt Hardy. I think it's just the Canada thing, but Matt Hardy also tweeted out that he's injured. But it could just be the Canada thing.
Yeah, he got written off via injury.
Yes. Oh, yes. You're right. You're right.
So
yeah, it's
Matt Hardy can say whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah, he's not going to be a world champion. Matt Hardy is a curtain jerker. They're not the same. They're no Joe Hendry, you know.
I believe. No, I don't. TNA World Tag Team Title match. ABC wins them back, defeating the Systems. Brian Myers and Eddie. Why the? I'm pissed
already. This match was really, really good. This is one of my favorite matches on the show.
How many stars?
3 3/4.
Oh,
I thought it was really good. I'm higher on it than it looks like cage match was. I will say the match was really, really good. I thought the action was good. I thought the heel work from the system was really good, and ABC did a great job of overcoming it every single time. There was one spot at the very end that was weird and didn't really make any sense, but I understood it, and it was still very weird. So ABC is going for their finisher, and are about to hit it on Brian Myers. Alicia Edwards steps in and says, "Don't hit it on Brian Myers." And then Brian Myers, and then they move her out of the way or something, or Brian Myers moves in front of Alicia Edwards, and she's back there. I don't know what happened, but then when they go to hit the move, Eddie Edwards moves Myers out of the way, having Alicia to get hit. So he's sacrificing his wife to save his partner or whatever. But then they still attack the two and still hit the finish on Brian. It was just a convoluted, overlooked mess of a finish. That wasn't.
That's TNA, baby.
Yeah, that's TNA for sure. And that definitely pulled me out. I thought the match was really good. What it was meant to be was like our last like heel card that we could play, right? Of like, oh, we can do this. We can sacrifice my wife to try to get the win, but it didn't lead to anything, so it didn't really make any sense in the context. Yeah. Beyond that, I thought it was a really good match. I thought the work between all guys, I was kind of shocked of how good Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards were still here, or especially Brian Myers.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say we've said that about Eddie Edwards multiple times in our TNA reviews, so it's kind of something tells me he's still good. Mike Santana defeated Jake something.
Very good match. Santana was super hot the entire time. He came in through the crowd, and the crowd loved him.
Yeah, but how was he in the match?
Really good. I thought it was really good. Jake something was really
you didn't
good.
Get the joke. You didn't get the joke. He said he was super hot. I said, how was he in the match?
He was adorable in the match. I thought it was a really good match. I thought Jake something.
I like Santana.
I like Jake something. They had a really good, solid wrestling match. You know, if you just want to, like, we just talked about it. I could see that in like a G1 match. Like it was like from what we just watched night one. Really good match, you know? Really good, hard-hitting affair.
The Rascals, Wes Lee, Trey Miguel, and Zachary Wentz defeated the No Quarter Catch crew, Charlie Dempsey, Miles Bourne, and Noah's Own, Tavian Heights.
Yeah, so this is the NXT offer match. Like I said, I was upset that like NXT is obviously the hottest thing for TNA, and they only do one match, and it's with the No Quarter Catch crew, which have already appeared in TNA. NXT. Yes, it's 4 people in NXT. And fun fact, I believe it was Zachary Wentz that got the pinfall victory over Miles Bourne. So they gave it to not Wes Lee, which they easily should have.
Don't know who Miles Bourne is, so.
Miles Bourne is the guy in NXT that everyone says looks like Randy Orton, and he took that to heart and then just watched a bunch of Randy Orton tapes, and now he wrestles like Randy Orton and moves like Randy Orton.
Nice.
So take that as you will. Charlie Dempsey's solid. The Rascals, obviously.
Real review. You know what the real review is that I need here.
Tavian Heights, still very green. I think this was his
12th. 12th
He's 26 years old, and this was his 61st match in his career. He is a former Olympic amateur wrestler.
Yeah. Greco-Roman.
He's really good.
Aha!
Him going to Noah is actually perfect because his issue that I'm realizing right now with him is that he's really big. I mean, let's see. Does it have cage match have less than 6'1", 213 pounds? But he feels bigger than that. So he's really big. He's a beast. He's just suplexing guys over the place. The problem is that he needs somebody in the back like Gato. Obviously, this is Noah, but he needs someone like in the back that looks at Tavion Heights and says, "Monster, give me more monster!" Because he moves like a guy smaller than him.
Okay.
That's why I think him going to Noah and working with all these other guys, especially working with guys that are going to be hitting harder, all these sort of things, could really help him out a lot. Realistically, would honestly be probably the best thing for him. Because he needs to move with his own weight. Like Obafemi has that a little bit better, where he can move with his own body weight and stuff. But he just still moves like an athletic man, and I don't really want to see him move like an athletic man. And he sells very like over the top a little bit, and I wanted to rein that in a little bit because I think he's doing more than he has to. What he does do great is he's just suplexing guys over and over again. I want to see from him more Oleg Bolton than I want to see. Like, I guess Keith Lee would be be the other side.
All right, but there's hope there.
There's hope there, and I think the N1 can honestly bring that out of him.
All right, I'm excited. Shout out to Tavion Heights. That's our guy.
What blocks are he in again?
He's in the B block.
I just did N1 blocks and it showed me a car engine. No.
I got you. I got it.
Yeah, who's in his block?
We got Kano.
That would be interesting.
Yoichi.
Yeah, that would be good for him.
Manabu Soya.
Also very good for him.
Oka Sasaki.
That could be interesting, just as like an MMA guy versus amateur wrestler guy. If they just shoot it the entire time, that would be fun. I don't know, because they're both also extremely green, so I don't really know.
Titus Alexander.
Yeah, fine.
Alpha Wolf.
I think that could be good, but be negative good. If that makes sense.
And El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr.
That could honestly do that. That would be better than Alpha Wolf for him. So yeah, I think he's in a solid block. I think he can learn a thing or two.
These blocks are getting better the more I look at them. Just we could replace Josh Briggs, but
but
can't win them all. They should have why did they send Dempsey?
I don't know. I don't know why.
Like I feel like Regal probably wanted a manager relationship. Like no.
I honestly, Tavion Heights is a way better spot than Dempsey in there. Like in Dempsey in that block, I don't.
Well, I would put him in the other one.
Yeah, it would be interesting because of the styles clashes. It would be like something different, but I'm honestly more excited to see Tavion Heights in that block than I would be Dempsey.
Moving forward, all I'm going to pitch is these random NXT wrestlers go in there. Why is Obafemi? No.
That would be good for him, but I don't know.
They know what he is.
Yes.
So, next match, PCO PCO defeated AJ Francis for the TNA Digital Media title and the International Heavyweight title in a Montreal street fight.
So this was extremely over the top and overbooked, but the crowd was also super into it, and I had fun with it. AJ Francis, not a great wrestler, but AJ Francis is really good at hardcore matches because it hides all of his wrestling. PCO takes insane bumps. Like Josh Bishop was in this match. He was a second. MLW's own Josh Bishop. was a second for AJ Francis for some reason. I don't know why. And he did a power bomb to PCO onto two chairs that were back to back. So he power bombed basically on the tops of the chairs, and he power bombed them in such a way where basically PCO landed on not his back, but his tailbone, like lower on his back, and he bounced off of it, and it looked so gnarly. I cannot speak more about it. It looked so bad, Scotty, in a great way that I love to see. AJ Francis took like a choke slam bump through tables on the outside, so solid. It was fun. The crowd was into it, but it was extremely overbooked and all over his place. And PCO wins, and then it ends with what's that girl's name? The girl that was with
Stephanie
DeLander, Steph DeLander. Coming out and then proposing to PCO. He says yes, or sorry, we, and now they're engaged.
All right.
I had more fun than I expected I was going to have, is what my review is. But it wasn't like a great match.
Yeah, you could have told you that one. I could have told you that without seeing it. Jordan Grace versus Ash by Elegance. I'm really happy to see that Jordan Grace won.
Yes.
Because, boy, was I scared.
Yeah, Ash by Elegance is a good wrestler. Jordan Grace is
wow.
good, but
you don't say. She's terrible.
Yeah, this match wasn't that good. It was fine. Better or worse than the Matt Hardy match? I mean, I don't know, because that was 5 minutes, so who knows? But like, this match wasn't that good. This was her first. Not even her. No, it wasn't her first TNA match. She's had a bunch of TNA matches. I didn't even realize that. But it wasn't that good. I would not recommend. You don't have to go out of your way to watch this match. Not at all. Wasn't good.
Yeah, just delete it from my sheet. Mike Bailey defeated Mustafa Ali with Earl Hebner running in.
Yes, match of the night. Easily match of the night. These are two great workers. Mustafa Ali, I think this is one of the best matches I've seen of his. I still went 3 3/4. But it was, if I did a plus 3 3/4 plus, that would add that here. But it was really good. Mike Bailey, obviously really good, gets the win over Mustafa Ali. The crowd was super into it. Now the Earl Hebner of it all, Scotty, is, so the idea was that Mustafa Ali bought Earl Hebner to come out after the ref gets knocked out in some way, to then do the Montreal screw job, because he put Mike Bailey in the sharpshooter. Earl Hebner said at the last second, no, I'm not going to do that. And then Mustafa Ali got all upset, and then eventually ended with, I believe, Mike Bailey doing the sharpshooter on Mustafa Ali, and Earl Hebner righting wrongs and counting out not counting out, but tapping out Mustafa Ali, and Mike Bailey gets the win via sharpshooter. So great match with a dumb, unnecessary ending with Earl Hebner. But again, overbooked. That's TNA. They did the pop, whatever.
Good match of the night.
Match of the night.
What was the rating?
3 3/4 as well. But if I did, it would be a 3 3/4 plus.
And your main event, TNA World Title, 6-way elimination. Nick Nemeth, the most wanted man,
correct,
is the new world champion.
Mm-hmm.
The eliminations were as followed. Moose eliminated Steve Macklin. Hendry.
We'll do it by elimination.
Okay.
Steve Macklin went on a tear of people and looked really good, and then Moose eliminated him to stop his tear. And I thought Steve Macklin was really good.
Hate this company. Steve Macklin rules, and they just whatever. Joe Hendry eliminates Moose.
I want to point out, 11 minutes later, Joe Hendry eliminates Moose. They do a lot of brawling on the outside. I believe Frankie Kazarian does a table bump off the stage to the outside after getting a super kick from Nick Nemeth.
I just saw who the final two were. That's okay.
Mm-hmm. Joe Hendry, the crowd was super into Joe Hendry the entire time. Scotty,
wow,
this match wasn't bad. I wouldn't say this match was bad, but watch this match to see how little Joe Hendry does in it. Because the guy can't wrestle, folks. I saw people legitimately tweet out that maybe the reason they didn't put the TNA title on Joe Hendry was because he's going to win the NXT title.
No, the reason they
The reason they didn't put the TNA title on him is because he stinks at wrestling.
That's not why they didn't put it on it either. Because this is TNA, they don't give a shit about that. You just told me that AJ Francis had a title, so it doesn't matter.
To be fair,
that's true. But like, I just think they didn't put it on him because one, they're TNA. Two, supposedly Bound for Glory is going to happen in the UK.
Oh no. No.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Fuck that.
Josh Alexander eliminates Joe Hendry.
Yeah, so it happened almost immediately after Joe Hendry got eliminated Moose. The crowd's all into Joe Hendry. He pinned the champion. We now know we're going to get a new champion because Moose is gone, right? So everyone's excited. Joe Hendry just pinned the champion. This could be something. They gave him something. Josh Alexander kicks Joe Hendry in the nuts.
Nice.
Traps his arms and just elbows him over and over again. And then C4 spikes him and gets the win. Thus, turning Josh Alexander heel, which I am extremely excited about. I think that is a good move on TNA's part to turn Josh Alexander heel. Right, especially
It's different, which is good. Feels like he should have probably won the world title.
I agree. But they're moving something, and that's probably gonna be the feud of Joe Hendry versus Josh Alexander moving forward, which sucks. But maybe makes him a better wrestler.
The most wanted man eliminated Josh Alexander 6 minutes later.
Yeah, so then Nick Nemeth, they rest a little bit. Nick Nemeth, the idea here is that Nick Nemeth was against Josh Alexander. You're supposed to get that Frankie Kazarian wasn't around. And then Nick Nemeth gets the win, and everyone's like, yay. And then everyone's like, oh, yeah, Frankie Kazarian's here. And then he comes out. They wrestle a little bit for another like 2 minutes, basically. And Nick Nemeth puts him away, becomes the new TNA World Champion. The match was, I would say, pretty good. I went 3.5. Probably the highest rating I've ever given a Joe Hendry match. And he barely did anything in it.
Because you believe in Joe Hendry.
Yeah,
you're a big Joe Hendry guy. You don't have to hide it.
I'm a big Joe Hendry guy. I'm an NXT hate lover, so that means I love Joe Hendry.
You're an NXT lover.
Yeah, the match was pretty good. Everyone else did really good work, I thought. Steve Macklin, I would like to see more out of him. I will never get behind Joe Hendry, and if he becomes the TNA champion in England, what is his company? Who gives a shit? He's a meme wrestler. He even admitted that like all of his entrance stuff is just like, I needed to be over and I needed to be memes. Like he's an irony wrestler and everything he does is ironic. He doesn't actually know how to wrestle. He's really bad at it. That's why he didn't get called up to NXT UK many years ago. He's so bad that even NXT pillaging the UK scene was like, oh no, we're good. So like he's not great. He's not a great wrestler, and I don't understand the hype on Joe Hendry at all. And all of it is because he showed up and has a fun theme song the crowd likes. That's it. That's all he is.
Fired up.
He is the wrestler that the classic, and then the bell rings. That's Joe Hendry. Sucks ass.
I mean, you're not gonna hear me fight it. I don't give a shit. TNA sucks.
I mean, the show was like, I don't know. What was my average rating on the show? It's like a 3.19, like pretty good. It was a pretty good show. A little long, but for the most part, it's pretty good, pretty solid. TNA, it's not going to be the greatest thing, but pretty solid 2-3 hours of wrestling, I'll say. That's the best. That's the best review I can give you.
Yeah, TNA stinks.
Yeah, it does. That's the other thing. Also, it's like I don't want to put like when we say TNA stinks, I'm not putting TNA. I don't want to put TNA in like the MLW, NWA.
No.
They're not awful. Well, MLW is not awful. I will say they're not awful.
You always defend them.
I think MLW is weirdly underrated. I think NWA is not great, especially the upper card scene. And I think TNA is very streaky. And this wasn't really a hot or cold show. It was just sort of like a solid show. So if you like TNA, you would enjoy it. If you're coming in from NXT, which you probably weren't, then you might enjoy it. For like a big time wrestling fan like we are, skippable if you want, but there's a lot of title changes and like 2 to 3 matches.
Before we go, I want you to do this with me, okay?
Okay.
I want you to rank the following promotions in order of your interest.
Okay.
Okay. AEW, WWE, NXT, Ring of Honor, TNA, MLW, NWA.
Okay.
Start at. You might want to write it down. I
was like, hold on.
It's all the promotions in America that are not considered indie.
All right. AEW, WWE. You say NXT?
NXT counts as its own thing. Yes.
Okay.
Because Ring of Honor does too.
AEW, WWE, NWA, MLW, Ring of Honor, NXT, TNA. Right?
ROH. Do you say ROH?
I don't know if I did, but I did write it down. ROH.
Right.
Okay.
Rate
it. I would say
do the first few because I know AEW's first.
Yeah, AEW's first easy with a bullet. That's easy. Number 2, there's a drop.
I know.
There's a drop for sure. 2 might just be WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 will upset you, maybe.
You say MLW.
3's MLW.
Holy shit.
4.
That actually to me says more about everything. That's crazy.
I think 4 is NXT.
To be fair, MLW, Mystico's champion. So
the lucha stuff helps MLW a lot.
Yeah.
That's part of it. 4 is NXT, and that's also because I don't necessarily watch their TV every week. I will watch a match if it's really good, but also they have Vaquer and Julia and most of the Machine Guns probably coming in, so it's like I'm interested in what they're doing. 5 is TNA.
Okay.
And I have the NWA and Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor's dead last.
I know. I think Ring of Honor is 6 because the TV is for the most part skippable, but they do have great pay-per-views. Okay. No, wait. Hold on. TNA is 6. Ring of Honor is 5. We'll swap those.
Yeesh.
And then 7 is NWA. So I have AEW, WWE, MLW, NXT, Ring of Honor, TNA, and NWA. I've watched a lot of MLW before, Scotty.
I know. You used to watch MLW all the time when we didn't even have the show yet, but you watched a lot of MLW before this show.
On the weekly television stuff?
Yeah, when they were doing the stuff in the empty arena.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of MLW this year. I've watched a good amount of MLW.
You are a major leaguer.
Yeah, I am a major leaguer for sure.
You're never shaking that ever.
I never shaking that again. I just, and to be fair, maybe I'm high on them right now because I just watched the Lucha Aztec Lucha show this week, which was literally just CMLL wrestlers. And I was like, yeah, this is good. Mystico and Cavanario in the main event. Yeah, this is really good.
By the way, since we didn't talk about this and you brought it up, I didn't ask for MJF and CMLL. I do think it's cool that, like, because he doesn't go anywhere ever.
Yes.
So, like, that says a lot. So I'll give them that. But boy, oh boy, I was like, why him? Why don't you just do this with Ospreay?
I know. Ospreay didn't go anywhere. Yeah, my fear is with MJF. I do want that with the AEW International title for these guys to go out and compete elsewhere. CMLL is interesting. I wouldn't be shocked if he shows up in like Rev Pro. Like, honest, like legitimately. I can fully see a match between MJF and Michael Oku. I know you're gonna hate that, but the idea, but even in then of like the story,
God,
even then of the story of him beating Oku, you know,
dud.
yeah, I know you won't like that, and then also like
You won't like that either.
Him and New
Okay.
Japan, like I don't know how like this would probably, I don't know how long this will go on, but like if he can do it, Rev Pro and New Japan and all these sort of things, it is plausible. Like when's Capital Collision?
It's like the weekend after All Out, I think.
Mm.
All in, sorry.
It is August 30th.
Yeah, so the week after.
Okay, so then probably not, because I don't know if he's going to have the title by Wembley.
He's gonna lose it at Wembley.
I think he's either losing at Wembley or losing before Wembley. Because right now the belief is that it's going to be him versus Pac. Right?
It's gonna be him and Ospreay.
No, Pac won that global.
Yeah, they're just gonna do it at like a TV.
I think you're right. I think because Pac had a promo after the fact where he says, something about he wants to have the match at Wembley.
Yeah, that's good for him. That's not gonna happen.
I think
best case scenario, Pac versus Ospreay, MJF's not involved. There you go.
I think the best case scenario is Pac versus Ospreay for the title and MJF versus Garcia.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's the best case scenario.
Yeah. No, you're right.
That'd be a hot MJF match. For a fact it would be.
It would be.
And I would love to see Garcia back in this company.
Yeah, we're a little worried about that one currently.
Low worried for sure. Well, this has been Ring Post Radio, an interesting Ring Post Radio, I'd say for the least. I don't think it turned out how I expected it was going to be going in, but it certainly was an interesting one for the least. I think it was a good one.
What happens when I don't ask for the lineup?
A lot of thoughts about wrestling, but I think next week should be good. We'll talk more G1 Climax. We'll talk Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor, which hopefully that is a great show. And we'll be previewing SummerSlam as well next week. So should all be, and also we're talking about Blood and Guts. So it should be a fun.
SummerSlam looks really bad.
You're not interested in Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa?
No.
You're not interested in LA Knight versus Logan Paul?
No. It's a really bad card.
I think we're giving away our preview, so we're gonna save that for next week. But that's been it for us for Ring Post Radio. Scotty, before we go, give us some plugs. Give us whatever was your match of the week.
Well, I didn't watch wrestling this week, so tough.
Yeah, we pretty much talked about anything. We talked about Dynamite and we talked about G1 Climax. What was your favorite movie that you saw? You said you watched a bunch of old movies.
So okay. That's a good conversation. So yeah, I was watching. So for those who want to know, this week the college football game came out. It's the first time it's been out in like over a decade. Mm-hmm. So what I've been doing is playing that while putting on old movies that I've seen a million times. But like it's like good background noise. And I was like, oh, I should rewatch all the Deadpools because I want to go see that.
Mm-hmm.
Forgot how much I enjoyed those. Had a great time watching those. And then I started pressing a randomizer like for streaming services. Like, all right, give me a movie. So I then ended up watching Madagascar. You remember Madagascar? You weren't ready for that. You were not ready for Madagascar. No. I did not watch all of them because I can only watch the first one. I can only take the one. Because I watched it, I was like, man, this is not as good as I remember. What a shame. I was more of a Shrek guy anyway, so it's fine.
So your movie of the week is don't watch Madagascar?
My movie of the week is probably Deadpool 2. I enjoyed Deadpool 2 heavily on rewatch. My match of the week, because I do have to give one.
I'm upset that you said, as a film lover that I am, I'm upset that you said I watched a bunch of old movies and then you said Deadpool and Madagascar. I'm not much older than you, but I also I'm a big film guy, so like when you said
previous movies,
you said old movie, I was like 90s,
80s. My childhood movies. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. My bad. My match of the week. Let's go with Chihiro Hashimoto versus Jordan Grace.
Oh, yes. That
good.
was in Sendai Girls, right?
Yes, that was good. I did
Was that
watch
better?
that.
Was that better than the title match, title for title? Right?
I thought so.
Oh, interesting.
Also, Momo bled a lot in her match against Dasha Sako, and that was cool too.
Ooh.
On
Ooh.
accident, but you remember when Beth Phoenix smashed her head on the
Yes.
that's the kind of blood situation Momo had going, and like it just proceededly got more red. I was like, is she okay? And I was like, no, all right, she's gonna keep wrestling, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, those would be my matches because I didn't watch anything else after like Sunday. So
That's totally fine. My plugs are patreon.com/countoutpod. If you want more episodes of The Ballot, I am trying really hard to get guests for an episode this month, but a lot of guests are either not responding or they're unable to do it. So I don't know what I'm going to be doing for this month. But luckily, we did have that bonus episode talking about the careers of the tag team of Steen Erico, Kevin Steen, and Sami Zayn, El Generico, and Kevin Owens. So we did have that come out. So that's at the very least. I'm really working hard to try to get something. Worst case scenario, I'll have 2 for next month for August. But on top of that, if you want more content from the Countout family of podcasts, I hate using the word family, but I just used it. Anyways, subscribe to Ring Post Radio, but you also have other shows like Your Dose of Death, like Jumping Knee Pod, which just had a recent episode come out, Faces and Feels Cast, which had a great interview come out with Alton Thorne from the UK scene, an independent wrestler from the UK scene, and of course Ichiban Sweetcast, which at G1 time, G1 Climax time, so they'll be doing their G Wondering, where they give you near daily or at least reviews of each night of G1 Climax on action. So if you want to hear their thoughts, Curtis and Raph's thoughts on the G1 Climax, all you have to do is subscribe to Ichiban Sweetcast wherever you get podcasts. Or if you want to listen to everything, we also have a separate whole network feed called the Countout Network feed on wherever you get podcasts. That is it for this week's episode of Ring Post Radio. We'll see you all next week for more dumb conversations. Goodbye, everybody.
how dare you?